Hello. The timing of that wins the prize, lads. Hello, good evening, you're very welcome aboard. Happy Friday, folks. And today, our stream, a commemorative flight, 81 years since D-Day. And tonight, this is our third D-Day flight here on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Tonight I'll be using Flight Sim 2020, but we also have it up and running in 2024. We have a very special free scenery pack to go ahead with this flight, this mission this evening, and it was created by the one and only Jeppesen 2001. If you haven't grabbed it yet, ramble over to our website. Yes, that's where it is, and you can download it for free. We've both a 24 version and a 2020 version that you can pop it in. Basically what we're doing, it's a commemorative flight. We take DC-3s, C-47s, or an aircraft of your choosing, and we're going to replicate one of the greatest moments, not only in World War history, but one of the greatest moments of aviation history. This was the night that Mission Albany, all part of Operation Overlord, and it was broken down into different missions. You had Operation Neptune, Operation Bodyguard, Operation Fortitude. Don't worry, I'll tell you all about them. But what the whole flight represents from the real world, a tip of the cap to the aviators and the soldiers of the day on both sides, both on the Allied and the German side, and of course, mainly for the pilots as well, who had to fly this route with very rudimentary avionics and navigation skills. This thing was absolutely nuts. They used at the time like a beacon system, and it was called the Rebecca and Eureka system. We'll learn a little bit about that later on as well. And well, for us, it's our chance as a community to, jump in together and do a flight. Now, there shall be technical challenges. It's me after all, so try not to worry if you get like a CTD or the multiplayer servers are shagged. It can happen, right? But the flight time tonight, 3.5 hours, and there's going to be a lights out function, right? We have to turn off all our aircraft lights as we approach the coast of France. We'll go through the full mission brief before we get going. I have a ton of notes here just to learn about, really. I mean, the whole operation, so many different parts of it. It wasn't just about flying paratroopers behind enemy lines in order to secure major objectives that would facilitate the landings a couple of hours time, right? So the paratroopers mission were to get in about 5 hours prior to the landings, and the British got in, and we all know Pegasus Bridge was captured, the first shots fired on the D-Day invasion. And then we follow along with the Canadian. We also have a look at the Polish contingent, and of course we have the American side, mainly made up from the 82nd and the 101st. Tonight, we followed the 101st, and this with Mission Albany. 757 spy, Dave, he's flying Mission Boston, which is part of the 82nd. We're going to fly Mission Albany. So this encompasses the 101st Airborne Division. And in particular, we'll hone in, I'm sure you guys have all watched it by this stage, Band of Brothers, Easy Company. So we're going to be honing in on what they had to do, and where some of the chocks were, where some of the flights departed from. The vast majority, if you like, particularly when it came to Easy Company, departed on out of Uppottery, which is just up the road to where we are at the moment. We're down in Exeter. Uppottery today, it's no longer used as an airbase. It's the grasses try to reclaim it, nature taking over, but it's still there visually in the sim, and we will overfly it. Exeter was also used back in the day, and some of the chalks took off from Exeter. And when we look at the flight plan, don't mind that. When we look at the flight plan, there's quite a bit going on from there as well. Right, so I'm on flights in 2020. I'm using JoinFS. Right, if you're on 24, you can connect to us on JoinFS as well. And on Flight Sim 2020, we're going to be on the Southeast Asian servers. And as I say, we're up against technology, so we'll try not to get too worried. You see, we'll try. Well, I say that and we'll try, but we always do, But yes, as I said, the scenery, absolutely cracking stuff from the legend himself, Jeppesen 2001. That scenery is available for free, as I said, over on our website. And there's a 2020 and a 2024 version. Note to our 2024 pilots, just with some of the limitations early on with Flight Sim 24, the sound files aren't working on the 2024 scenery. Now, on the flip side of that, well, the visual effects are better. right? But on 2020, both visual and sounds are working, and it is very, very immersive. Jefferson was able to build a lot of stuff in here, and to you know, it's kind of our kind of tribute to the men and women, as I say, on both sides, the way the world was, you know, and we'll learn about a lot of that as we get up and running. I will have Elevatex up and running as well, absolutely, and we'll probably have some Say Intentions running as well, so we should hopefully have lots of options to be able to see each other in the virtual sky. So the aircraft I'm flying, it is that of the DC-3, heavily modified with the Duckworks mod, and let's see how that one goes. Right, it'd be grand. With the scenery files, also there is a weather preset you can download and select it. It's called the D-Day weather preset, and it's not just an owl preset. The amount of time that was spent studying the weather conditions, and you're reading handwritten notes. I visited the well, I've been to France many times. We've spent some considerable time in Normandy, and the D-Day Experience Museum, one of my favourites. I've spent considerable time there, and you know, was able to read through all sorts of literature for finding out the little bits of information when it comes to, you know, what was the weather like and what was it like on the ground. And even last year we got to stay at a farmhouse about 6 miles from Utah Beach, just outside of Sainte Marie de Mont. All right, and this farmhouse, it was one of the soldiers, one of the Americans who were there. The Germans were using it as an OP, and there was an American soldier shot. Now, he was heavily awarded afterwards. I mean, highly decorated. But I've spent a lot of time in the area. I'm just interested in it. It fascinates me, and well, I hope I can share what I've learned this evening with you. What I've learned over the years, right? That's the hope. But also, last year, I reached out to some of our own community members. You know, maybe they had an impact, or they knew a story maybe in the family of a relative, or of, you know, of someone that they knew. And we have some of those from last year we can read out as well. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, specifically around D-Day. It could be at any stage during the war. I just thought it was fascinating because, you know, the reality is, and the sad thing is, I don't know if you guys watch the D-Day commemorations every year that are held at Coville, which is the US cemetery. Usually you see, you know, they have the bleachers behind whoever's speaking on the podium, and they're all the veterans. Well, it's just a way of life. Year by year, well, the numbers are getting way smaller, way smaller, and before we know it, there will be no one left who either fought or who was involved in the D-Day side. Like we're down to mere very small numbers. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's all it's very real when you think of it that way. 81 years to this day. It's quite staggering. So yeah, let's see what the story is. But before we get going, it is a live stream as well. We can have some fun, right? We can talk about, you know, the flight sims and that sort of stuff, and, you know, how decent Murphy's hair is not looking. You know, these sort of things. It's grand. And Gibbo's going to burst me because, oh wait, Gibbo, will I press that button now? Because he told me better.
Ted,
I know.
You're going a bit mad there.
Gladiators, ready!
Right. That took too long to put in. I had to do that in the right. But anyway, listen.
Jesus.
It could have went either way, lads. It could have went either way. But anyway, a quick hello to everyone who's joined us. Thank you also very much indeed for tuning in. The last time I did this, I was part-time at this gig. Mad. But anyway, who's here? Look, we got a follow from Mr. McNuggets. Thank you very much indeed. CP65 is here. Super Typhon, good to see you, buddy. 25 degrees and I bashed me toe. Ouch. Spitfire RAF 100 is here. Happy Friday to you, buddy. Who else come in? Mac Vision is here. Razzie, good to see you. Vacuum, happy Friday. Mech Mancer's in the house. APU Inspector. The man that has timing like no one else. Welcome in, buddy. Fierce Wolf is here. 46 months. With a tier 1 subscription. Thank you very, very much indeed, Fierce Wolf. You're looking well. Toombs is here. Retriever Neil, a very happy Friday. Creo's in the house. The Impossible Face, about ready to fire up the DC-3. Oh, yeah. One of my absolute favourite aircraft in all aircraft, you know, period. Love the DC-3. So I can't wait to fly this evening. Malky Mac, hello. Lee McKeela Mike is here. Welcome aboard. Eamon 1973. Very good evening to you, Eamon. He says, respect to all the veterans from D-Day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Commander Balosh, welcome in. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, has rumbled aboard. Good to see you, Dougal. AZ Blue Line, welcome. Retriever Neil, happy Friday. 98 Vulcan, good to see you, buddy. Kozaki Flyer is here. Stick aboard. Pre-flight complete. Maps have been marked. Great stuff out of you, Kozaki. Toto's in the house. Welcome aboard. Gibbo Ireland is there in the chat. Good to see you. Did you hear that? Psst. Incoming beer, Gibbo. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH John, hope you're well. Rambog Mord is here. Welcome in, dude. Hope you're well. Jan Namarkamp, Rick Rashid, Rob MCR. It's very busy. Welcome in, everyone. We'll have to do the flight in 2020 because 2024 is playing up big time. Chalks, welcome in. Captain Cocktail, happy Friday. Falconer is here. Linny Bobbins. Hello, Linny. Toons, good to see you. Jepson 2001 has rambled in himself. He says, a very good evening, chaps and chapesses. Thank you very much indeed, Jep, for all the work you've done onto the scenery, mate. Incredible stuff. And it's free. It's free, so we get to explore it. Defined Prawn is here. Good to see you. Death's Angel rambles in. Wicked Lumberjacks. Happy Friday, all. Just finished watching the D-Day episode of Bandit Brothers in preparation of this flight. Excellent. Daddy Plump, welcome in. Alson is here. Sun Jammer, welcome aboard. Hi there from 500 feet over the channel. Nice. Captain Sickbag, happy Friday to you, my guy. Stu Snape is here. He says, I think I got Join FS working. I saw a DC-3, but now he's gone. Let's see what happens. Velo, you're very welcome aboard. Grimmy McGuinn is here. DeRuiter, hello. The Impossible Phase, it was just after installing a livery. You might have issues with model matching and with liveries tonight, so as I said, pinch of salt. Let's see how we get on, right? But yes, Jepson says, I would suggest if you're planning to fly the D-Day route in 2020, the reason being 2024 does work, but there's a bug with the sounds. So let's see what happens. Let me see. Engineer Zed, good to see you, buddy. Southeast Asian server. That's what we're using tonight. Stick Figure, welcome aboard. Sir Camsalot, a very happy Friday to you, buddy. He says, salute to all who served past and presents, and a special thought to those who paid the ultimate price. My own dad turned 5 on D-Day, a proud military man, sadly no longer with us. He turned 5 on D-Day. Jesus. Brilliant stuff. Right, let me see. Where's this now? Flyer 10, bonsoir. Good evening, hope you're well. Where are we at here now? Sean Dale, a very happy Friday to you. Dougal says, can't believe it's a full year since we've done this. It's a quick year, Dougal, isn't it? Frightening. DJ Seamus, you're very welcome in. Where is this now? C-47 showing up as finances. Camouflage Rambog. You know, we'll keep it yes, it was camouflage. That's what they made them look like. Kanzui, hello. Hope you're well, buddy. Tilly Flyer is here. Good evening from a little sunny part of central Scotland. You're very welcome in, buddy. Zybot Doc is here, 34 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Zybot. Great to see you, buddy. Captain Mustard, welcome aboard. Who else come in here now? It's busy, isn't it? Filthy is here. Blinky, good evening. Abo92, you're very welcome aboard. Viper Strike is here. I would have joined to fly along with you if I wasn't going to visit the Normandy beaches for real life next Friday. You're going to love it. You're going to love it, Viper. Muttley, good to see you. Buttons down here now. The Polish lad had footballs of steel from day one. Yes, they did. There's not enough cover from the Polish lads. Their pilots in particular during the Battle of Britain, they were mad lads. But yeah, I've spent a bit of time reading up on them, some of the squadrons. Phenomenal. Where is this now? Abba says, might actually join in tonight. Nice. Flying tonight, lads, I'm back. I'm flying tonight again. Yeah, good to see you. Jesus. DeRuiter, good to see you. Tilly Flyer is here. Dan 1878, good to see you. Gregor, good to see you. Greg, in a box man, welcome back, buddy. Hope you're well. Any reason why one of my DC-3 engine keeps cutting out? Keep the fuel pumps on. Let's see what happens though. I'll go through a full startup here of the aircraft, so we'll see. Expecting lots of glass cockpits this evening, right? Brilliant. Pico is here. Proby Pete, good afternoon, he says, from Arizona. Hello from Tipperary, good to see you. Goblin Zeus, a very good evening to you. Little Trader is here. Lucky Bo is here. 3 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed for all the support. What a ledge. Talro, good to see you. Wicked Lumberjack says, I had an uncle who was in the 82nd Airborne. He jumped on D-Day, ultimately captured by the Germans during Market Garden. Jesus. Taylor is here. Good to see you. 6 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers. Right, over here. Nighthawk 1867 is in the house. Hope you're keeping very well. John C, good evening. See you later is here. Hermit Something, a very good afternoon. Who else come in? Mustafa, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. So far, I only see one Bonanza. Could be worse, right? Does the server matter if you're using Join FS? No. Absolutely not, because you're using Join FS's server instead. One Fly Air, you're very welcome aboard. I got a beautiful sight of an A380 sitting on the tarmac, dragging its tail like a DC-3. Realism, right? Soaring AJ, you're very welcome aboard. Test Pilot is here, welcome in, buddy. Wired Lad is here. Maverick Mike, good to see you. Didn't know you wanted World War II stuff. Left you stuff from my grandpa in your DMs. Oh, wow. He was based in Africa, Linny. Fascinating. Wired Lad, thank you very much indeed. Prime for 11 months, buddy. Thank you very, very much indeed for all your support. Murphy needs a big digital clock so we know how much lag there is in the stream. There shouldn't be much lag, but I know YouTube is a little bit slower behind. It's to do with latency because it's in 4K, but hopefully there shouldn't be too much. 303 Squadron forever. Yes. Gaseous Maximus, good to see you. Thomas Farr is here. My great-grandfather was shot on the beach at Dunkirk, evacuated and medically discharged for the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. Wow. I love hearing about all these stories. It's fascinating. What's sad is it tends to be someone who's now unfortunately passed away, as in it happened to them, but it's up to us to keep it alive. And I don't say that kind of, in jest. We must keep their memory alive because, they paid the ultimate sacrifice. And as I say, it's on both sides, right? It doesn't have to be just all about the Allies, which, well, it has to be for us, but also total recognition for the German defenders. Total recognition. I mean, you would have had an average Joe in there, right? The upper echelons were all friggin' nuts, but apart from that, Uniform Goose is here. Good to see you. Visualize, welcome in. Mrs. TPHI, Black Sheep Jean. I've been watching without commenting for 2 weeks now. Seems if I didn't comment, then you didn't know I'm watching. I am here, your silent stalker. Gene, thank you very much. Dave Cleary, legend Dave. Welcome back, Dave. Sir William, good to see you. Noah Mason is here. I got a ground tour of That's All Brother a couple of years ago. Beautiful plane. It was the lead plane during the invasion. 100%. Radial engines time for sure. Seagull, absolutely. NM Flyer, welcome aboard. Jay Tratt is here. One of the best streams out there. Well, thank you very much. Al Dushar, welcome in. Visualize is here. We'll talk about autopilot and all that. I'll go through the aircraft. So if anyone's a little bit sketchy with the airplane, I'll share what I know. And I know enough to know I don't know enough, but we shouldn't crash. We shouldn't, right? We shouldn't. Right, who else is here? Icarus, good to see you. Mutt Dog is here. Who else come in the door? Alex W. Welcome aboard, buddy. John Hawks is here. How do I join? ! How to multiplayer. All one word. Keep it tight together. And there's a little YouTube video for that. My grandfather was a tank commander at the Battle of the Bulge, says Alex W. Wow. Captain Ireland is here. Alex, good to see you, buddy. Respect for the people who were involved. Absolutely. Leonardo da Vinci says, my great uncle Gerard Neri died on Normandy on D-Day. We still have the Purple Heart. Is it Gerard Neri, I think? Is that how you pronounce it? Password for JoinFS is TheLogs2. Good to see you, Max. Heapster, welcome back, buddy. Gramer Dim is here as well. You're all most welcome this evening. If there's any questions, lads, if you're stuck with anything, well, just let me know in the chat. We've already started off with technical difficulties because my little light isn't working. Jesus. Hang on. Oh. We'll unplug it. And plug it back in again. Shouldn't I have heard? I did. Jesus! Black Sheep... You can't be doing things like that. Black Sheep Jean with a $20 donation. Thank you very much indeed. Right, now my light is working. That was terrifying. Right, come on over here now. Ah, brilliant. So, here we are. We have sounds, and we have our DC-3, technically, but to be honest, right, the differences between a DC-3 and a C-47, the major difference is the name, a designator. Obviously there weren't chairs in a C-47, right, the Skytrain, but there were benches. But when it came to the aircraft itself, all they really did, they changed the rear door a bit, right? They lowered the floor a little bit, and they added in a few additional avionics when it came to the C-47s, because they used this Rebecca and Eureka gadget, right? That's what they did. So I currently have multiplayer off at the moment. Let's wait until we start up the engine so we can get all the sounds and we can see what's happening, and any performances that may or may not occur, well, they can just jag off, right? So here we go now. So we've to look at the flight plan first, lads, right? And we know that Dave, 757 pilot, or 757 spy, Dave is currently flying Mission Boston. They're probably down around here. I'd say they're getting very close. We'll catch them on the way out. We're situated here on the ground at Exeter, Echo Golf Tango Echo. And what our plan is, after takeoff, we're going to head up towards Uppottery, right? And Uppottery, you'll actually see it here if we go satellite. Uppottery was the airfield. That's just that's a quick. Where's me Uppottery? Right now, we'll find it because we have to pass it in order to get there. Easy now. So we'll take off. We'll go kind of this direction, right? Where's Uppottery on this now? I should have spotted this from the sky. Easy now. It's not that far up the road. Yeovil, I think, or Yeovilton, I think it's called. That's all up this neck of the woods as well. We do have a waypoint here. Why did I throw that there now? There's Yeovil. There's Yeovilton. So Uppottery is up here, I'd say, isn't it? There's Merryfield. Hang on. There's Dunswell. Here's Uppottery. This here, lads, is Uppottery. This is what remains of Uppottery today. That's Navigraph drawing in kind of hard surface runways, right? But you can kind of see the layout here. Nature very much taking back over what was once an extremely busy airfield, right? And you can kind of see where the grass is kind of growing back over the runways. It's no longer used. I'm going to drag this little fella up, and it's very much a case, lads, after takeoff, right? I hope that's the right one now, is it? We'll find out, says you. Yeah. After takeoff, just follow me. It's going to be a turn left heading 227 degrees, and we're going to fly up that neck of the woods. So our first major waypoint, just south of Compton Abbas, we're going to be doing a right turn heading 202. And as we come out over the Portland heliport, our land, I think there's a lighthouse or something out here as well. That's when we will descend. So just so we know, don't worry too much about altitude restrictions when we're over the mainland in England, the south of England. About 3,000 feet or so. We will dip down to about 1,500 feet, lights off. That's the altitude we're going to travel on this flight path here. And then making sure that we're behaving with lights. It'd be a right turn, all right, and then we'll be approaching the north of France. We'll be coming in here, and in the area of Normandy, we're going to be rambling straight across our drop zone. Our DZ is located here, just outside Carentan. That's where our drop is going to take place. Once our drop is complete, it's going to be a left turn over to 030 degrees, and then we bug out. All right. So that is what we're flying tonight, and that route, just do ! route. It'll give you the whole shebang, and you'll be able to throw it in there. All right. So that's what we're doing flight-wise. See that guy up there? We'll need him now in a bit.
That's what the go and swinger, baby.
There's things happening at an alarming rate. Unbelievable. Hang on a second. Oh dear, Gibbo. Helicopter, thank you very much indeed. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Cheers, man. That's unbelievable, lads. If you got a tier 1 sub with thanks to Helicopter, well, do be sure to say thank you very much indeed. Amazing. Care85 is here. Good to see you, buddy. Right, here we are with our beloved aircraft. This is the next one, right? So, well, we'll jump in and get ourselves a little bit acquainted with it. So currently I'm running off the battery cart, which is located just down here. All right.
Welcome to my
and the sounds
underground
layer. The sounds that we have, we're running off the battery cart itself. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on our avionics, get our beacon light on, and everything else here is fine for the moment. Radios are up on top. We have our ignition systems here, right? These are ignition. We have our energizer and starter meshes over here. Booster pumps, generators, internal lights, all right? As you come down then, looking on the main body, where we have some controls underneath, we have a tail wheel lock, we have an autopilot unit, all right? And we have various rudder and aileron trim surfaces. Our main elevator trim is here. And then looking down on top, these fuel valves are important. Left main, right main, and then we can change our tanks depending on where we are. So that's to do with all of our fuel, okay? First and foremost, what we should or what we can do, you'll notice on the outside of the aircraft, my cowl flaps are already open, right? I did that earlier. However, if you find yourself in a position that they're closed, right? They probably won't close. What I need to do, we need to pump hydraulic pressure in, pneumatic pressure, right? So to do that, we're going to turn this red clog down here, and we have a small little hand pump. This little fella. And as we're pumping that, if you look at the dials up here over on the top left of your screen, these dials are now starting to move. We need about 750 built up, right? So as I've done that, if we look outside now, cowl flaps are fully closed. All right. Now, because, well, we need to open these for starting up the engine. So we're going to open them. And as we open them, you can see that pressure starts to drop off again. They're now open. All right. So we'll give it a couple of more pumps. And then we're going to close the valve. Also, this blue handle, very important. Left engine gyro pilot, right engine hydraulic systems. So if we want to be using autopilot, we move it that direction. If we want to be using the flight systems, things like flaps and gear, that side is what we use, right? Angel15 says, weather preset is not working. Angels15, what do you want? 24 or 2020? So this is the weather preset here. D-Day weather preset, which is loaded in. Current time I have is around 1842. We want to be there at around nightfall, so I would say, let me see. I would set the sim time to about 8:30, and we can always run it forward a little bit ahead. All right. These aircraft would have taken off late enough in the evening, probably around 10 o'clock or so, circling around, picking up all the formations. We'll have a look at that as well, and then they all started heading across. And as I said, there was many formations flying. If you're having trouble with the presets, this is what we do. So put in a cloud layer. Right, coverage, density, just have a look at these. Your lowest cloud layer is between 154 feet and 6,437, right? Coverage view, density, scattered, you can play around with that. But basically from around 150 feet up to about 6,500. The next cloud layer, broken conditions, and that's starting at 1,500 feet going up to 20,000. Density, they're very light. It's more kind of misty fog stuff, and then we have a very top level cloud layer, which would be overcast all the way up at 290 to 42. The wind for all of this, wind was coming in from 359 degrees, northerly wind coming in at around 6 to 8 knots, and the pressure was falling. Sorry, the pressure at this stage was rising rapidly because they found a break in the weather. All right. Jeez, I may turn off the noise on my phone, lads. Turn off the noise on my phone. Right. I wish to put the Lancaster in. We badly need the Lancaster. Badly need it. Right, so we shall continue on here. We do have a door open. Does that open or close the door? That opens the door. So close these. There we go. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get the aircraft up and running. So we're going to select our tanks. So we're going to go left main, right main. All right. And we're going to put our prop fully forward. Throttle is open. Remove that handle, we don't need it. And what else are we going to do? We're going to come on up here now. We're going to go to our ignition systems. There's many different ways to start this aircraft. Various different publications. People do it a different way. This is what I do, and it works. I'm not saying this is the way to start it. This is the way I started. So let's see what happens. What we're going to do, open the ignition coil, make sure that it's pushed in. Booster pumps for the right. We're going to start the right engine first. And we'll give it a bit of prime before we do anything else. All right. And now we're going to flick on the energizer. Open that guy out. Get those mixtures in there as well. And we're going to engage the starter. And fingers crossed, this all works, right? It may not. Right, starter. A sec. I mean, it sounds good. RPM is up. Oil pressure's rising. And we've got to go start on the right. So we're going to go generator reset and on. Get our window closed, and we're just going to replicate what we did on the right over on the left. Right, mags on, primer coming up. Dougal, I think there's a click spot for him in the C-47. I think. Okay, she's primed. Left side coming up, left booster pump on. Get that window open. You can hear that starter unit now starting to turn. Old veteran 965. Good to see you, Scott. Balloon, good to see you, buddy. And let's go for starting the left. Should be about 12 rotations of the prop. All the pressure's climbing. Oh, Betsy. There she goes. Okay, we've got to go start both engines. Sweet. Alright. So we continue on. We will go generators reset on. Cockpit lighting, turn it on. And we can continue on now with some of our checks here. So we're going to remove the battery cart. We're going to go on to what's called ship power, or the aircraft power. Disappear the cart. We get some landing lights on here. We're in friendly locations, right? Friendly locations. How was the Tomahawk in 24? Really, really good. Really, really good. What else do you want? De-ice or no? Prop heater, just check. Peter can come on. They're all looking good. That's all looking good. And pilot sidewall, compass lights come on here as well. And that to me sounds like we're good. We'll jump outside just to double check and verify the sounds. They sound absolutely unreal. Right, we're going to go to trailing our cowl flaps. Alright. That's all looking good to me. So we'll come off the brakes. Small bit of power. Flight controls. So these are the FT Sim sounds that we're using for the aircraft as well. As I said, it's a heavily modified DC-3. Okay. So far so good, lads. All sorts of shake, rattle and roll going on. That's what we want. Dougal, where was that click spot, buddy? Easing out. Now, hopefully things don't start breaking. We start adding in some multiplayer. Now, check the flaps. Flaps sound good. Isn't that a beautiful, beautiful sight? Absolutely gorgeous. You're on the 2020 beta, multiplayer will work? I doubt it. I doubt it. But sure, give it a shot and see what happens. Where are we going? We'll go this way and then over. Man, isn't it a gorgeous airplane? Look at that. UGV, good to see you, buddy. Your wife's father was in the Army Air Corps during the Second World War. No way. Yeah, as I say, if there's going to be issues with model matching and all that jazz, lads, try not to worry too much. So we're just going to wait for Joint FS to start doing its thing. We should get other aircraft here now shortly. Haven't seen anyone yet, mind you. Okay, hold station for the moment. Okay, so sit in the brakes for a minute. Now, Join FS, come here and talk to me. So we do have folks connected. Dee model matching. Scan for models. Man Murphy. 1 second now, boys. We shall do this. I need... what do I need? I need desktop. And we need... what do we need? We need... I can hear people. That's a good start. Just can't see them yet. Need a bridge too far for takeoff music, right? Multiplayer will be coming on now in just a moment. I just want to make sure that we're fully... We have a Spitfire or something up there. I just want to make sure that this is running the way it should be. Flight Simulator Packages folder, right? So if I go into this PC, local, right? Oh wait, Packages folder. That's buried, isn't it? Let's see here now. It's on desktop, isn't it? She's in here somewhere, lads. Add-ons linker. Where's that folder? Bear with us now, bear with us now. So it's 2020 local cache. That's what I'm looking for. Why can't I see that? It's on the desktop, but you can't see it. That's very interesting. Local disk, we'll go the old way. Windows. No, it's not Windows. Users, Murph. App data. Local. Packages. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Local packages there. Let's scan all those. Give it a moment. That'll get Join FS back to what it needs to be doing. Right, we'll give it a moment. And while we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and turn on the multiplayer inside the sim as well. We have some traffic moving. I'm just waiting on the rest of the models to download, right? So we'll give everything a few moments to get situated. So flaps for takeoff. 1/4. Fuel is looking good. And there's aircraft starting to load in there now in a moment. We got a lot of people on the ground. This is good. Ah, yes. 6 FPS, really? Oh dear. Right, let's see what happens. So, come down to our tail wheel. Lock it in. Start advancing the power. So we're going to climb on runway heading and then see what happens after that. Alright, takeoff power set. Airspeed coming alive. Coming up on 80 knots. We got a load of aircraft now, this is cool. And purple textures. And a stutter. 100 knots. Oopsie daisy. Nice positive rate. Gear coming up. Let's fly that runway heading. Flaps coming in. Little bit of trim. It doesn't like very high vertical speed. We're looking good. Gives a different angle. There you go. Look at this, lads. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? And now you're deafened. Right! Easy now. We want to be going up this neck of the woods. Yes. Watch your speed while we're doing it, Murph. Alrighty. Ease our way into it. Just trying for a bit of trim here. Calm it all down. Here we go. We need to change over our hydraulics now, rather. Autopilot. Let's go heading. Let's hold Alt if we can. Easy. Will she hold? Let's see if she starts behaving. We're looking good. So far so good. Try and hold that altitude in. Around 2000. It's going to be a left turn here. Easy. A little bit to the left. Engine sounds are amazing, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so we want to head up in the vicinity of where Uppottery was, right? 100% Dougal. Okay, so we're just kind of skating under 2,000 feet. That was the wrong button, Murph. Man alive, isn't that gorgeous? So don't fret too much about the weather. It'll start changing as we're moving, so nothing major to worry about just now. Let's see here now. Unload. And then reload. There we go. Just want to make sure we're doing what we should be doing, do you know? Alright, so far so good. So we're going to be overflying the what used to be RAF Uppottery, right? Now speed, when we're looking at this for our aircraft tonight, our speed gauge here, this is in miles per hour. When we're dropping, we want to be aiming at about 110 miles an hour, right? That's what we're aiming for. So we just need to be a little bit cautious of that as we're manoeuvring on, right? Oh wait, hang on, I'm using chase plane. Come on, Murphy. Dash cam, let me adjust this dash cam. I'll do it. Okay, so here, ladies and gentlemen, is RAF Uppottery, or Uppottery. That we're going to be overflying first. Now, even though the runway looks fairly decent there now, right? Back then, it absolutely wasn't. Absolutely wasn't. So there is a mod you can get that kind of brings it back to its former glory. And, yeah. Okay, so a little bit down to the right hand. Elevatex, is that not running, no? Come on, Betsy, in you go now. Why is that full screen? Start tracking. Right, we'll go back to him now in a minute. Dennis C, thank you very much indeed, my dude. Thanks for the super chat donation. Very kind of you. Okay, start throwing in a right turn. We're going to bring our power back now. Because we don't need all the speed. We'll want all our power and all our speed for our flight home, yeah? So we're going to aim probably at around 30 inches and around 20,000 on our RPM. That'll bleed off some of the speed, all as well. And we continue on making this right-hand turn. Next heading is going to be bearing 282 degrees. I'm just Prox, good to see you, buddy. Sounds like a product for men, right? Okay. Man, we got a lot of folks with us. This is awesome. Right, so landing lights can come off. We don't need those. Keep our position lights on for the moment. So many people here already. This is awesome. Don't forget, lads, we also have a massive Firefly Air achievement up and running. With thanks to 6 knots. Kieran did a great job. It's in our Firefly Air Notams. So bring this up over on the screen. So an achievement crate for tonight, need to cover 250 nautical miles, departing and arriving back at Exeter. And this is all the information for Firefly Air tonight if you'd like to take part. So make sure you have LRM turned on and doing its thing. And hopefully all is well in the realm. Okay, small bit of course correction coming in. A little bit to the left. There's some starters, nothing like it. Easy now. Got some Spitfires with us, got a whole load of DC-3s, man, that's awesome. Look at that. So when they took off, like it was late in the day, right? I mean, the whole idea was they were planning to drop them at around, you know, about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what they were aiming for. So what I'll do, we'll continue heading to our next waypoint, roughly on a course of 282 degrees. Easy now. Easy now. See what happens when you don't sync your heading to your heading? Right? Alright, so our speed is coming back down. Engines are running a lot better. So 282. Allure. We lie. 282 is the inbound, or is the outbound, so what's the opposite of 282? 17? There we go. Jesus. All is well. Please show on Navigraph. You've lost us? We're right up here. I was just taking the scenic route. So at the very, very start, and like, I'm not too worried. Any sort of messing we do in this airspace, it really has no consequence. And the reason why I'm saying that is, right, well, back then, why is my plane turning? Back then, you would have been forming up with all the other aircraft, yeah? Yeah, 282 threw me off as well. We're all right, though. We're hanging on in there. Man, that's beautiful, isn't it? So let's see what she's going to do now. That is better. That's bang on. Right, we're grand. Don't touch that now, right? P-38 recon flight heading towards the coast. Hey, Jay Winokur, good to see you, buddy. Nice. Okay. That was a shaky start, but we're okay now, lads. We're okay. So, the D-Day commemorative flight. This is similar. We've done it last year as well, right? I just want to get our aircraft somewhat set up so we know what we're doing. More aircraft coming in. Look, that's awesome. I love that. And what we'll try and do, we'll try and fly the formation if we can. Cabin lights don't need to be on. I want that on. Position lights. We can keep all those on for the moment. Is there a switch in there for like the cabin? No? Interesting. Right, anyway, let's see what we're doing. Do we have to be in World War II livery? No, not at all. Not at all. So, as the shadow of war loomed over Europe, the Allies knew that a decisive strike was needed to liberate the continent from Nazi occupation. The critical moment in history, meticulously planned and executed, leading to the grand invasion known as Operation Overlord. So, the prelude, the seeds of Operation Overlord were sown in a series of high-stakes conferences and strategic meetings among the Allied leaders. The Casablanca Conference, which was In January 1943 marked the beginning where Franklin D. Roosevelt and Winston Churchill agreed to prioritise the European theatre of war. The intricate planning of Overlord took shape during the Triton Conference in May 1943, and further details were hammered out in subsequent meetings, including the Quebec Conference in August and also the Tehran Conference in November. It was at the Tehran conference that Joseph Stalin, Roosevelt and Churchill solidified their commitment to this audacious plan. The strategic context was clear. A successful invasion of Western Europe was imperative to open a second front against Nazi Germany. The Soviet Union, bearing the brunt of the Eastern Front, was pressing for this second front to alleviate the immense pressure on their forces. By late 1943, the Allies had made significant gains in North Africa and Italy, but the formidable Atlantic Wall stood between them and the liberation of France. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, appointed Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, was tasked with coordinating this monumental effort. Key military leaders, including General Bernard Montgomery, Admiral Sir Bertram Ramsay, and Air Chief Marshal Sir Trafford Lee Mallory, played vital roles in crafting the plans. The chosen landing site of Normandy was kept a closely guarded secret, with deceptive operations like Fortitude designed to mislead the Germans about the true invasion point. Hey, Swap 21 is here. Good to see you. Thanks, Supertie. Right, lads, left turn coming in. And this should be a heading of 075? No, it's not. 75 is the opposite way, so this is going to be 03, I'd say. The route's in reverse, but it's grand. We'll figure it out. Paddy flies Normandy backwards. Totally grand. But anyway, to gather intelligence on suitable beaches, the BBC ran a competition for French beach holiday photographs, secretly collecting millions of images to help identify Normandy as the ideal target. The Atlantic Wall, Hitler's series of impenetrable defences stretching 1,670 miles from Norway to Spain, was another formidable obstacle that the Allies had to overcome. Much of this wall was still intact. Still there today. Sorry, most of this wall is still intact today, with concrete turret defences and anti-landing obstacles scattered all along the coast. The planning process was immense, involving the construction of artificial harbours, laying undersea pipelines and training thousands of troops in amphibious assaults. The stakes are also incredibly high, and the timing had to be perfect, with consideration for tides, moon phases and, of course, weather conditions. Despite these challenges, the Allies were resolute. As of spring 1944, when it approached, they prepared to launch the largest amphibious assault in history, knowing that the fate of Europe hung in the balance. So, with the plans for Operation Overlord all crafted, the next crucial step was ensuring that the Germans remained unaware of the true landing site. Thus began one of the most elaborate deception operations in military history, Operation Fortitude, which was part of the broader strategy known as Operation Bodyguard. Now, this is where it gets friggin' nuts, right? So our plan here, lads, let me see, just small little course corrections. 075 roughly, right? And we can see some breaks in the weather. At this altitude, we can probably skim above the clouds, but I want to keep us low, right? Ooh, we got a Spitfire. We're looking good, lads. We're looking good. We got tons of aircraft. We'll do a count shortly, alright? But we'll continue on. So we're going to be flying, as I said, anywhere between kind of here and 3,000 feet. Once we get to our starting location, we're going to descend and we're going to hold at 1,000 feet. For the drop, it's going to be between 1,000 and 800 feet. So somewhere between 1,500 and 1,000 as we go across the channel and then we drop down. And we need to watch our speed as well, right? The bot does not like your route, so they're all lat long locations. PS Mirandai. That's what I was looking at there. Yeah. So Operation Fortitude, what was it? Well, Operation Fortitude and Operation Bodyguard are indeed related, but they're not the same operation. Operation Bodyguard was the overall Allied deception strategy for the invasion of Europe. Its aim was to mislead the German High Command about the time and the place of the invasion of France in 1944. Operation Fortitude was part of Operation Bodyguard, and Fortitude itself was divided into two sub-operations. Fortitude North, designed to deceive the Germans into believing an invasion would occur in Normandy, and Fortitude South, to convince the Germans that the main invasion would occur at the Pas de Calais. So there was two things running, right? Voice, yeah, Operations Mincemeat, 100%. Operation Fortitude. So, as the first waves of Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy under Operation Neptune, well, the success of D-Day was also owed to a masterful campaign of deception, all under Operation Bodyguard. Within Operation Bodyguard, of course, we have Fortitude, which is a crucial role in misleading the German forces. At the heart of Fortitude was the creation of a fictitious army group known as the 1st United States Army Group. And Operation South was all about, we're going to the Pas de Calais. And if you look at the map, right, the Pas de Calais is the shortest distance between England and France. It's right here, look. So they were going to go from Dover over to the Pas de Calais. And the Germans thought, well, that's the most logical place they're going to go, right? So that's what they were thinking. So this fictitious army group, or FUSAG as it was called, right? The first United States Army Group, they even put in a very high-profile general to be in charge of said pretend army. And that was none other than General Patton. You might have heard of General S. Patton, the pistol-wielding general, and the Germans considered him to be America's best general. They didn't necessarily fear him, but they just said, well, he's the best general that they have. Patton, previous to this, made himself famous for all the wrong reasons. He passed some Jewish slurs, and it was also said that he pistol-whipped a soldier who was suffering from post-traumatic stress. Get up off your ass and get out there, or worse to that effect, right? So Eisenhower had a bit of a task. How does he handle him? Because they were calling for blood back in the States. They wanted Patton sent home. But with Operation Bodyguard and Fortitude, by putting Patton in charge of this, 1st United States Army Group, it was very convincing, because the Germans were now getting information from their agents, and any aircraft that were lucky enough to overfly, well, they saw what was going on. So they were ticking a lot of boxes. So the game is on, right? So, the Phantom Army, it included inflatable tanks, like bouncy castle material, inflatable tanks, dummy landing craft, and fake radio traffic to simulate preparations for an invasion in the Pas de Calais. The success of this deception relied heavily on double agents, misinformation. One of the most effective double agents was Juan Pujo Garcia, codenamed Garbo. Garbo carefully crafted false reports to the Germans, and that reinforced the narrative that the Pas de Calais was the primary target. And what's fascinating about this fella, right? He started off. He applied to the British to say, "Hey, I want to be an agent." And this is in Spain, and they were like, "No, you're all right, thanks." Then he went down the road and he went into the Germans and he said, "How are you? I want to be an agent." And they were like, "Oh, very good." And as soon as they signed him on, he went straight back to the British to say, "Right, I'm now a German agent, and now I'm going to come work for you." Right? Double agents. And some of the work he was able to do, he created something like 25 different characters, all fictitious, lived in his head, all different locations throughout the UK. They're in Wales, in Scotland, down the south, in the Midlands. And the stories that he was relaying back to his handler in Germany was all makey-uppy stuff, but it was so believable. So believable. He even wrote that one of these characters that he invented was involved in a terrible car accident and he passed away. The Germans responded to this by sending a letter of condolence. So they were really believing this guy was telling the truth, right? Correct and right. Right turn coming in, friends. Hard right. So we're going to be heading down to 202 degrees. Another couple of moments. We also had then Colonel David Strangeways, Chief of Air Force, orchestrated much of the planning and execution of Fortitude. Innovative strategies ensured that the Germans remained convinced of the false invasion plans. Then we had Brigadier Dudley Clark, a pioneer in military deception. This guy had a very strange kind of career leading up to it. He was big into the theatre and theatrical work. You know, it was all about setting the scene, and as an officer years before, you know, they were told to put on like a variety show or, you know, like a summer ball sort of thing. And he had like hundreds in the cast of the production that he did. So he was big into the theatrics. So that's what made these guys, you know, spot on for this sort of stuff. The impact of Operation Fortitude was profound. German forces under the command of Adolf Hitler and Field Marshal Erwin Rommel remained spread thin across multiple potential invasion sites. Even after the initial landings in Normandy, the Germans continued to hold back significant reserves in the Pas de Calais, expecting a second, larger invasion force. And how all that came to pass, right? Your man Garbo. This is what makes this nuts. As the airborne elements were now flying from England to France to drop off the paratroopers, the Pathfinders were already, they went ahead, and we'll learn a little bit more about those in a moment, right? Whatever the War Office was, the Strategic Office, or, you know, the Secret Service, whatever it was, they turned around and they said to Garbo, right, start giving them information, real information. And they took such a bet on that they won't react to it. They don't know what's real, what's not real. So Garbo started saying, hey, listen, you want to watch it? There's an invasion force now headed to Normandy. Huh? But the main force will be at the Pas de Calais. So he told his handler in Germany this. He didn't do much about it. He didn't respond to it. And at around 3-4 o'clock in the morning, there's all reports coming in from saying, you know, there's American soldiers and British soldiers running around the place causing havoc. And then about 4 hours later, with the beach landings, massive invasion forces, well, the Germans didn't know what was going on. There was confusion. It was all over the shop. Then they realised there is an invasion. This gave Garbo the opportunity to go back to his handler and said, next time I tell you something's happening, you damn well better listen to me. And that really sowed the seed for him. That made him now extremely valuable, because he told that German handler, the main invasion force is going to the Pas de Calais, not Normandy. So the German High Command said, right, this business in Normandy, that's not the main assault. They held an entire division, armour division. There was Panzers were up there. I think the SS were up there. They held an entire division at the Pas de Calais, waiting for an invasion force that was never going to come. And only that they did that. Had the Germans ignored that and actually sent that division down to Normandy, we may have had a different outcome. They could have pushed the entire Allied assault back into the sea. So, what an eye-opener, right? I mean, it's not just the flying, it's not just the hand-to-hand combat, it's all the deception that goes on in the background. And like, this is where Ian Fleming and all that, you know, this is where all that stuff really took off. You know, your spy novels and all this. Absolutely fascinating stuff, and it was all part of Operation Bodyguard. Do you know? Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. The German guy, Cicero, I think. Yeah, I think so. So that was the deception when it came to agents and double agents and all this stuff, right? Now what we're going to do, we're just going to pull the power back slightly. I want to go for 2500, right? Because we're about to head out to sea shortly. And this is going to give us all a chance to start bunching up. One of the other massive deceptions that the Allies did was the creation of a new... What's the word I want to use? It was a creation of a new... not divert, what's the... Decoy. A new decoy, right? And they codenamed this Window. Like a window that you'd open, look out the window. It was called Window. Modern day, it's known as chaff. The metal strips, codenamed Window, were indeed used by the Allies during D-Day. They came up with the idea. The strips created false radar echoes, making it difficult for the Germans to discern the actual locations of the Allied ships and aircraft. Window was widely used by RAF Bomber Command and then later the Allied Air Forces much after. It became such an important part of aerial combat. Chaff, right? Sourdough Man, good to see you. Now, during all of this, where is it now? I think I have a picture here to show you. Diddly-dee-dee. During the airborne invasion map. That'll do. So during all the flying that was happening, right? So this is part of, this is like, you know, the maps that they used. We came over this neck of the woods. You can see now where we're flying down from, and then our routing coming in here from Portland down. And these all had different code names, lads, right? So you had like, you know, what was the name of them? You had like, I think it was Glider and Titanic and all this, right? But anyway, while all this was going on with the airborne elements, there was decoy flights happening in the other areas. And 633 Squadron, that was the Dam Busters, right? They were, their mission, they were flying deception missions, dropping window or chaff, because those pilots were so skilled. I mean, don't forget the bouncing bomb and all this, right? They were flying up this neck of the woods. The pilots were so skilled and so precise. They could fly a heading, drop window, do a full 360 and fly about, you know, 5 or 6 kilometers in front or beyond their last reported position, and then drop another bit of this window. To the Germans, when it came to radar, and radar technology back then cannot be underestimated, the importance of radar. The Germans, if we were to put it like for like, the Germans invested about as much money they had at the time, which is comparable to what the Americans invested into the atom bomb. The Germans invested that into radar. The huge, right? But anyway, with 633 Squadron, I think it was 633, wasn't it? The Dam Busters. That's what they did. So according to German radar, there was a relatively slow-moving, massive force on radar coming in. And that's the deception that they were doing, right? Absolutely crazy stuff. They also had dummy parachutes, or dummy parachutists. 617, sorry. 617. Corrected. Thank you, Malky Mac. 617 and Sean Dale. Come on, lads. Dam Busters was 617. Don't know where I got 63 from. 63 must have been a film. Anyway, the next one. These fake parachutists. They were miniatures, and they were called Ruperts. So what they did, they flew, not the main invasion force. These are the lads running the decoys. They would simulate a parachute drop and drop all these Ruperts out the window, right? D-Day Rupert. You ever see these guys? This is friggin' nuts. They would drop out of the sky and the Germans would say, bother! Or, you know, words to that effect. And by the time they got down, from the ground you look up, you're not going to know it's a dummy, right? That was another part of all the deception that was going on. Quite mad, quite mad. 617 Dam Busters. I have the shagging thing here, look. Jesus. Anyway, so as the intricate web of deception spun by Operation Fortitude misled the Germans, another crucial factor in the success of D-Day, not the planning, not the deception, the weather. The weather played such a crucial aspect in this. And at the heart of this vital aspect of weather was an Irish meteorologist whose timely weather reports played a pivotal role in the decision-making process. Right? In a small coastal village out in the west of Ireland, Blacksod Lighthouse in County Mayo, where a Maureen Flavin Sweeney was working on her 21st birthday, D-Day was supposed to happen on June the 5th. Right? But, you know, it didn't because, well, it got a delay. Why did it get a delay? It got a delay because of the weather. Maureen, a young meteorologist stationed at the remote Blacksod Lighthouse in County Mayo, made observations that would prove crucial. Her weather report on June the 3rd indicated a brief improvement in the otherwise unfavourable conditions. The observations were relayed to the Allied Command through a network of the UK Met Office and so on, right? And Captain James Stagg, the chief meteorologist of the Allied Expeditionary Force, he was very good at weather forecasting, and there was an English guy and an American guy as well. And when you think about how good were weather reports back in 1944, we still get the weather wrong today, and we're using like radar and stuff, and like, you know, machine learning forecasting, and we still get the weather wrong. So back then, incredible, absolutely incredible. So we'll go more into the weather after now a little bit, but we're doing very well here so far. Are we all okay at the minute, lads? Am I going too fast or, like, you know, confusing anyone? I confuse myself, all that. And we know about jet streams now. Yeah. It's nuts, man, nuts. Saw Rupert in The Longest Day, yeah. Your great uncle served in the 9th Squadron RAF that worked alongside 617, says Malky. No way, the attacks on the Turpids, wow. Mosquitoes, that's the one, old veteran. Yes. I sent up a weather balloon once, cool experience, tiny sensor package. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Right, how are we looking? Speed, currently 150. We're going to start dropping altitude here a little bit, lads. Can we drop our altitude? Oh, there's a bit of a pause. There's a bit of a stutter. We're okay. Easy now, Sim. Behave yourself. Okay, so I'm going to start descending us here now, lads. Time of day, I'm going to change it a little bit later, right? Live time, it's not dark enough yet, really. So what I'd recommend, lads, if you change your time of day now to about 21:45, 21:45, all right? Yeah, Dougal, not quite sure what's happening there, buddy. Right, lads, at this stage, I want you to turn off all your exterior lights. That includes your beacon and position lights. There should be nothing outside of your aircraft. Absolutely nothing as we approach this. So we're currently at 1,500 feet. We're going to level off and hold 1,500 feet, all right? Mr. Tulidi, thank you for the follow. Good to see you, buddy. Level off there now, Betsy. Easy. Will she level for me? Try and level. Come on, plane. Easy. All right. Once we stay above 1,000 feet, speed, well, she picked up a little bit because we're descending, but we shan't worry too much about that. Easy now. What livery am I using? Tin Man, good to see you. I'm in the That's All Brother one. That's all, brother. Oh man, that's awesome. Now, does anyone know where the freaking lights are for the cabin? Because they're turned on and I need them off.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
That scared the crap out of me. They're not the lights I'm looking for, but thanks. Battery lights, they're all off, look. Pedo's on. Right side, right side. Oh, cabin lights. No. Top right. No. To the left of the red button. This one here, that's cockpit lights, yeah? Try the navigator spot. I didn't think we had click spots in here. Okay, we pressed a button, I don't know what it was. That was a tad bit dangerous. Easy. Just left at the prop. No idea what happened there, but the whole plane just shut down by clicking the button in the back. Never seen that one before. Don't follow me for a second, lads. We have an issue. Why did the mixture die?
You haven't a clue what you're doing.
Don't panic. Hang on. What the hell? Ignition went off? Don't panic. Get up the yard quick. Easy. Easy.
Oh, Jesus.
Easy. Does anyone know what the happened? Jesus. Easy now. Right, let's not go messing on buttons, shall we?
It's not the plane, it's the pilot.
Listen. It's panic here at the moment. But it'll be grand. Jesus, lads. Could you imagine if I binned it on the way? Buttons are always getting you in trouble.
Yeah. We're going the wrong way.
All I wanted to do was turn off the lights. Oh, Jesus, I turned off everything now. Right, there's a switch for the lights. Bloody hell, Murphy. Right, hang on now. Let's an autopilot back in there. Yes. Right. Bloody Jesus. Beacon. No. Lights. Yes. Yes. Peter we want. Yes. Ship battery. Yes. Right, we figured it out. Jesus, lads. Right, get that engine power back to where it belongs.
They've done studies, you know.
Yeah, it's alright.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
Be alright, lads, be alright. Okay. We're slowly but surely getting back on track. There's everyone. Brilliant. Now you're thrashing. Bloody hell, did you see what happened? G-Day failed because of the light switch. I had no idea what that was, but listen, we're back on track now. Thankfully. Could you imagine if it all went south? Murphy ended up in the drink. Bloody hell. Right, get back on course. We've a while yet to get there, but like, do you know what I mean? That could have been absolutely disastrous. Heisenberg, you saw nothing, it's grand. If I had a school teacher like him, I'd have paid more attention. Be grand. We're alright, we've recovered the situation. We'll edit that bit out, lads. Totally sound. Nothing to worry about at all. There's everyone. Jesus. Okay. What we'll do now, because, well, I'm in Egypt, right? You skipped getting clipped. We were lucky. It wasn't out of gas, no. There was a button in the back here that I've never caught before. See these? There's a button here that's actually a kill switch. Never knew it existed. But that's enough of that. I'm not even going to look at them now, right? Right, what we need to do is find out how many folks are flying along, right? So, friends, if you're on the Xbox, press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. If you're using JoinFS or
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Thanks for that. Join FS or Skynet press 3. And for everyone else who's maybe just sitting here watching in amazement and sheer cringe for Murph, will you press number 3 and yeah.
Hello there. Right. Now, let's look at this doohickey. Bring up Navigraph here. So, lads, you should be on this heading. We're heading down to this waypoint. So, you should be on a heading of about 201. So, if you've gone the other way, come over this way. There's Dougal. We can see it. Oh, Jesus, lads, the fun that you can have when things don't go right. Okay, we're at 1,500. We'll descend further down to 1,000 as we approach the coast. That's the plan. Keane Lafford, 41 on PC, 6 on console, 16 on Join FS and Skynet. Plus Murph, lost in the dark. Right, Ronnie Dillard, good to see you, buddy. Death to missing light switch. Yeah, it'd look good on me thing, wouldn't it? Alright. Without any more mishaps, we're going to flick over to our auxiliary tanks, friends. Now, don't break the gadget, Murphy. Left auxiliary. Right auxiliary. Okay, we're alive. We're still alive. Let me see. Lecker Steve, thank you very much. Okay, so let me see. A little bit into the right. There's Balut. Little bit of moonlight. Can't see much right now, but so far all is well in the realm. Speed 160. Call it 25 and 20. People on Skynet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you got them on that. Jeez, that was close, lads. I nearly binned it. Wouldn't that have been just, you know, we'd have to start again from scratch. Right? Anyway.
So the weather, right, came from Maureen Flavin Sweeney from Blacksod Lighthouse over in County Mayo. Found its way over then to the Allied High Command, with Group Captain Stagg faced immense pressure, analysing the weather data from multiple sources, including that of Sweeney's report, to provide General Dwight D. Eisenhower with a comprehensive forecast of what was to happen. Stagg's recommendation, based on the current standing, not to go on the 5th of June. Instead, he said there was going to be a very small break in the weather, and this is going to happen on the 6th of June. A very small break, right? Because we had low pressure dominating. And I wouldn't mind, but the weeks leading up to the 6th of June, it was actually quite pleasant. Beautiful sunshine. There's no way bad weather's coming in. No, there's bad weather coming in. Not at all. And then bad weather struck, right? However, as dawn broke on the 6th of June, the weather over Normandy, it was far from perfect, but it was now within acceptable limits. And acceptable limits had to be there for the Air Force, the Navy, and then also the airborne element of getting the lads in and out. The paratroopers and glider units launched their operations under the cover of darkness, and the amphibious forces began their perilous journey across the channel. The relatively calmer seas and clearer skies, as predicted, allowed the invasion to proceed with a higher chance of success. So where we are at the moment, we took off. We can see nothing. We took off. I'll change the time of day and then I'll change it back because you can't see it. We took off under fairly bad conditions, but as we approach Normandy, that weather, you can see it's starting to break and burn off, yeah? And this is pretty much bang on the way it was that night. So there was a bit of cloud there, but as they approached, it started to break a little bit, giving them just enough space to be able to get in and do what they had to do. Maureen Sweeney's observations, made from the remote lighthouse, had a profound impact on the course of history. Contributions ensured that the Allies could capitalise on the brief window of opportunity, and the accurate weather forecasting demonstrated not only how rudimentary weather was back then, but at the time, the Allies could use weather stations in Ireland. The Germans had something, I think, in Iceland. They used submarines, they used their U-boats to put in different weather stuff all across the Atlantic. But as the Battle of the Atlantic eventually turned, they lost all that capability, do you know? And Jesus, buttons, that scared the crap out of me. I know there's buttons at an alarming rate. Jesus. Where's the things with stuff? I can't even see my screen. Toombs, you absolute mad lad. 50 tier 1 subs. Did you just see what he did? Toombs, did you fall on your pocket? Jesus. Toombs, thank you very, very much indeed. That is insane support. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to Toombs75, do be sure to say thank you. That's absolutely mad. 50 gifted subs. I mean, 10 is holy muckerage. 50. Jesus. Thank you very, very much indeed. Oh, interesting. So, also, right, Rommel. So Erwin Rommel was brought in. He was made famous during Africa, or when the Germans were operating in Africa, and he wasn't there on the 6th of June. Erwin Rommel went back to celebrate his wife's birthday, because the weather was to be bad. The Germans said, there's not going to be an invasion, so the weather's terrible, right? I was nearly speechless there. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Tunes, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for this and all your streams. Plus, this D-Day means a lot. Thank you very, very much indeed, Tunes. What a legend. G Slayer, good to see you, buddy. My grandpa used to tell me Rommel was a plonker, right? He was a genius at times. But anyway, my time of day keeps going back to daytime. Sorry, Murray, are you using Elevatex? Make sure you turn off the timing sync. Yes, this is a DC-3. Heavily modified, but DC-3. Look, this is where the break in weather is. Look at the gap here now, because we're going to be turning left shortly. Anyway, where are we going? Left turn. Rommel was off celebrating his wife's birthday, bought her a pair of shoes in Paris, right? And when he got the phone call at around 7 o'clock in the morning on June the 6th from his adjutant back in Normandy, He was like, probably just a decoy. Keep me posted, but nothing to worry about. And that's what happened. The whole thing started happening. Your Grand Majesty, don't worry at all, man. 700 RPM difference between the two engines, says Tilly Flyer. Shouldn't be, Tilly. Make sure your mags are on. Yeah. Also, booster pumps. Turn those back on if you need them. So, also, Hitler had control of the Panzer divisions, right? Where Rommel was brought in to be the main defender, but you also had, like, the Chief General of Normandy. Forget his name. It's written down somewhere. But him and Rommel didn't necessarily see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. He was all about, no, keep the tanks back, and then if they do invade, we can push them forward and drive them into the sea. Rommel was like, don't give them the chance to make landfall, keep the tanks near the coast where I need them. So Hitler came up with a compromise that didn't, von Rundstedt, thank you Kozaki, von Rundstedt. Hitler came up with a compromise that didn't, typical of Hitler, it made no sense, it didn't solve the problem. He compromised by, well, I tell you what, we'll keep half of them back and put half of them up front. No use to any bugger, right? And a lot of the defenders, a lot of the German soldiers, not all of them, but a lot of the German soldiers that were stationed in Normandy, on this Atlantic wall, well, they weren't necessarily, you know, the hardcore Wehrmacht. They weren't necessarily the hardcore German soldier. A lot of these were draftees. Usually when Germany took in or took over a country, it drafted recruits. Conscription based. So the fight wasn't necessarily in all of them, right? They did have their diehards there, but so many different variables, you know. A lot of Eastern Europe, yeah, Scott, a lot of them Eastern Europe, and they were there because they had no choice. And the Germans in, you know, the early 1943 or whatever, they were saying, you know, propaganda, join the army, and you can go to places like Normandy, enjoy the sunshine, and play football all day. A lot of young guys ended up going out to Normandy. An awful lot of young men on the German side. And in France, in Normandy, you have, you know, the world famous American cemetery, right, at Coville. But out the road then, you have the German cemetery. And the French also gave them their soil as their final resting place. And I tell you, lads, to walk around that cemetery, incredible. Ostrupen, yeah. Like, it's chilling. Left turn coming in, Dougal, correct and right. Left turn coming in, 120 degrees, lads. Lighting discipline is going to be very important, and so far these are all brilliant. Just make sure all your exterior lights are turned off. This looks absolutely insanely good. Well, a Roman noodle, it's not to say the Germans were good guys or bad guys. The high command were friggin' nuts, right? People are people, and we see this in all walks of life. The Nazis were bad bastards, like there was no point saying anything else about them. They were just bad, evil. No two ways about that. But a lot of the German soldiers, a lot of them, you know, if you watch Band of Brothers, even Shifty made, you know, he said, you know, he might like to fish, I might like to hunt. And in different circumstances, they could have been good friends. And what's, you know, at the end of all of it, there's still a common respect. There's this kind of weird respect line between soldiers. You know what I mean? Some of them, not all of them. As I say, some of them bad as you can get. But they weren't all like that, you know. But either way, like atrocities and all that jazz, like that's all that very dark, horrific side of the war. And, you know, what we're doing tonight, I mean, we're not ignoring that, but this is about, you know, it's about us doing this commemorative flight, remembering those involved on both sides, in particular when it comes to the aviation aspect. Like, you know, the avionics, as we mentioned earlier on, this Rebecca and Eureka system, basically what they had to do to make this work, you had a little ground beacon that would send out a frequency, like a homing beacon. And then the aircraft flying along, they would pick up that beacon and they were able to point their aircraft towards it, right? And you often see on the side of aircraft, you can't really see it on this. Let's say that's one of them there. On aircraft, you see these mad, weird-looking aerials of the Second World War. They were part of the Rebecca and Eureka system. So in order to make this happen, pathfinders had to go in advance of all the paratroopers for attack. Right? They were called pathfinders because they had to go in and establish the paths. Right? So they were called pathfinders. That's all, brother. This aircraft, she was one of the first, or if not the first plane leading, the paratroopers on the night of D-Day. Or the night before D-Day. But the pathfinders had to get in, land, build the equipment, turn it on, take cover and wait. And they could have to wait for several hours before the Allies actually got in there. The lead aircraft in each of the squadron, so that's 1 in 7, that was fitted with a Rebecca system to listen into Eureka. So if the lead aircraft was taken out, the other guys, they had to go old school coordinates, and there was no VOR or GPS. There was nothing like that. There wasn't even air traffic control. Like, what? You know? Dan says, I visited the nasty side of World War II, Auschwitz. Jesus, no. No. Like, bone-chilling places. The concentration camps. Oh, Jesus, like, that goes without saying. That's the horrific side. Like, war is not there. And, I'm interested in war purely from, I'm just interested so far as technology and, the political mess and all of this. I'm not a fan of it. Do you know what I mean? Horrific things on both sides, by the way. The British throughout the years, the Americans, I don't think as much. The Russians definitely. With these kind of working camps, like horrific stuff throughout history. Goes back to the Romans, sure. Look what the Romans used to do with them. They crucify them, literally crucify them. You know what I mean? Like, imagine growing up in this time, regardless of whatever side. Imagine growing up in this time. You didn't have a choice. Like, a lot of them didn't have a choice. You're signing up and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Even with the Pathfinders, they were still all over the place. Yeah. There's never a right side in war. Correct and right. I live near Shiloh Battlefield. A battlefield is haunted. Jesus. Yeah, it's terrifying stuff. It's horrific stuff. But my own personal views on all this, I'm not a fan of an element in society that tries to dismiss things. That didn't happen like that, or you shouldn't say things like. It's so important that we don't forget the horrors that came through, not just that war, but like all war. You know what I mean? They try and desensitize it or something. I don't know what it is, but like, anyway, that gets into another totally different discussion. Usually enjoyed with a glass of wine to talk about things. But as I say, like, what this is, what we're doing from an aviation perspective, it was staggering what was achieved. How many men were flown in, equipment, and then you even had the resupply. You had resupply, right? You had medevac missions, you had weapons and ammo. They put a fuel line under the sea. There was a power station that was disguised as an ice cream factory. It was a power station, right? And a pumping station to bring fuel from England to the north of France to resupply. Isn't it mad? One of my uncles was in the Wehrmacht. Two of his brothers were in the British Army. Yeah. There was Americans. I say Americans, but like, there was Americans in the German army. There was Germans in the American army. A lot of people didn't have a choice, and those who did, some of them chose wrong, some of them chose right. But I just think it's just so incredible when you think of this was considered. Yeah, we're doing this on such a scale, thousands of aircraft, tens of thousands of troops. And the objectives here that we're following, we're with the 101st Airborne. This was their mission. In particular, we're following that of Easy Company. Their job, Easy Company, the 101st, they were to secure the town of Carentan. The reason being is that would link Utah and Omaha, the two causeways. That would allow them to join up at Carentan and then have that would solidify the beachhead and give them options for controlling the roads in and out. Easy Company, their mission, smaller scale down, they were to destroy a garrison which was protecting the way into Carentan. And then one of the most famous missions of Easy Company was the assault on Breacourt Manor. Now, Breacourt Manor, I've been to Breacourt Manor, we've walked around it and whatever else. There was a German artillery set there, raining down all sorts of hell on one of the beaches. And when Easy Company came across it, Richard Winters, that TV show, lads, is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece because, okay, there is a little bit of Hollywood in it. Don't get me wrong. Sobel wasn't the complete and utter idiot he's made out to be, right? Herbert Sobel. If anything, he's a reason a lot of the lads made it through there. He was hard as nails, but he wasn't this kind of incompetent idiot. You know, there's a little bit of Hollywood, but in terms of how the story is depicted and the camaraderie and Jesus, even the fighting scenes, Band of Brothers is just incredible. You know, there's a lot of Americans in the Royal Canadian Air Force. Yeah. USMC vet, 100%. So the assault on Breacourt Manor, which depicts a section in attack on a fixed position, that's still practiced today at West Point. I've come across it. It's assault on a fixed position, usually section in attack or squad in attack, right? Where you drop your FSG, that's your fire support group. You do a flanking maneuver, take them out. You have a final RV, and then you charge them. Like, that's still taught today. Like, crazy, absolutely crazy. Look at this. So, how are we getting on? We'll make it a little bit darker shortly. We'll be making our final turn left. Then we need to drop altitude as we're approaching this waypoint here. We want to be at 1,000 feet and 110 miles an hour. That's when we're going to simulate our paratroop drop. Once we have them dropped, it's a left turn and we hightail out of here. Full gas. Yes, Chili. Multiplayer is on. We were at in 2018, we were in Normandy and we went down to Pointe du Hoc, and 2018 was the year before the 75th anniversary, so there was a big to-do, right? Big to-do. And we went down to one of the museums on site at Pointe du Hoc. And what they were doing, it was kind of like their dress rehearsal, right? It was like their final rehearsal before they opened everything up to the public. And we were brought in. It was a German fixed position, so big concrete bunker. And they had their artillery pieces, they had machine guns, the whole lot. They had pyrotechnics, they had searchlights, they had the sounds alone were frightening. And we're all standing inside this bunker, and you're listening to what's going on. It was nighttime, and it was dark. It was like whatever, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And then as time goes on, you can hear German soldiers talking. They're just chatting about their day. It's like two soldiers on duty, having a smoke, talking about whatever. Then all hell breaks loose. You see the searchlights go up in the distance, and you can hear flak miles away. And like you talk about immersion, lads, absolutely insane. Anyway, the artillery opens up, machine gun fire, the whole thing, smoke, fire, bang, really, really loud. It was terrifying. And like the whole building was shaking. Whatever way they set it up, it was unbelievable. And then into the whole battle anyway, next thing you start hearing familiar voices. And by familiar, I mean English-speaking voices. It was the Americans. You can hear American voices outside. Hey, Johnny, grab... all this going on. And then, you know, it's louder and louder. Grenade comes in, boof. And that was all part of... they toned it down a lot, right? For the next year, because even I gave feedback to say, Jesus, lads, like, that was loud. That's come from me, like, you know. But, like, some of the stuff was just absolutely incredible. If you ever get the chance to go to Normandy, my favourite of all the museums in Normandy is the D-Day experience. I've been there many times. It's just a pleasure and a privilege to be walking around it. They've a phenomenal, big, massive cinema on site now. They have a C-47 simulator that you get into the back of it. And again, there's all, there's pyrotechnics, and they have like screens where the window should be, high definition screens. It's on a moving a rig, so you're feeling everything, right? And they actually have, like, some of the artifacts that they have Winter's dress uniform, Richard Winters. Their actual uniforms are there. Highlander, all of these lads. Fascinating stuff. So if you ever get the chance to go to Normandy, make sure you go to the D-Day experience. If you only get to see one museum in all of Normandy, that's the one. It sits at a place called Dead Man's Corner. Dead Man's Corner was made famous because it was the road coming from Sainte-Marie-de-Mont. So I'll show you a map in a minute, but let's say you've Omaha Beach, come in, land a little bit, Sainte-Marie-de-Mont. Come in a little bit further, Dead Man's Corner. Go in a little bit further, Carentan. Right? Further north of us then was Sainte-Mary-Église. Sainte-Mary-Église, that was the objective of the 82nd Airborne Division. The 82nd were to go in to secure the town of Sainte-Mary-Église. Very famous photograph, you may have seen it, with the paratrooper stuck on the church steeple, right? That's where that is. That's not far from Carentan at all. I did, Seamus, I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, lighting. We're not too bad. Current altitude 1500. I'm going to drop us down now to 1000 feet. Speed is good. Let's just drop the time of day back a smidgen. There we go. On total darkness. And we want to get down to about 1000 feet. And at this time, there wasn't a blackout in effect. It's only after the initial pathfinders got in, they said, oh, there's activity, right, start shutting off electricity, all the lights went off, yeah? But it wasn't a complete blackout. So we're still descending a little bit. We're going to be doing a course correction here now shortly. Uh-oh. We can see stuff in the distance, lads. That'd be a searchlight. That'd be searchlights. Alright. Jepson did a great job of this. He really did. This is one of the most immersive sceneries in a flight simulator. Period. Right? Right, we'll just keep that gadget off for the moment. Don't be climbing. Easy now. Watch the altitude. We don't want to be dipping into the clouds too much. So far, so good. Man, that's where we're headed. We blame Dave. They've caught it. They've caught Dave. Make it a little bit darker in here so I can actually see me screen. All right. Now remember, we need to get our speed down to about 110 miles per hour when we're dropping. And we need to get our altitude down just under 1,000 feet. The time I have it set to, which is probably the safest, is 2018 or about 20 past 10, right? Oh, yes, lads. This is starting to get serious now. Look at this. Far, far away, your lights are on! Turn off the lights! Okay. So far, so good. Fuel situation. On our auxiliary tanks, that's quite okay. I don't want to go full lights out because I can't see then. Got a bad feeling about this? You better believe it. We're going to be making a left turn shortly. Alright, so far so good. Oh dearie me. So far so good. It's going to be a left turn coming in very shortly. This altitude, we need to get it down to smidgen, lads. We've checked our fuel, we're on the correct tanks, we're okay for the moment. That's German searchlights. Whoa, we're seeing flak, look. Jesus. Right, start left turn. We can see flak here, lads. Jesus, lads. Easy now. This is all thanks to Jefferson 2001, lads. Incredible work. Okay, our heading looks good. Look at that, look. Isn't that absolutely unbelievable? Isn't it absolutely incredible? Simming Sav, welcome in, buddy. Okay, so whoever's made it, we're now over land. Let's get ourselves tidied up here. Altitude needs to drop. We are approaching our drop zone for our paratroopers. Let's get the door open for them. Our door is open. All right. Speed needs to come right back, fellas. Altitude needs to come down a bit. Easy. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, altitude coming down. Watch your speed. There's 1,100 feet. Our drop zone is just north of Carentan. That's where we're supposed to go. Can you imagine the confusion, the panic, the fear after flying through something like that before they even get in? Bloody hell, man. And that was all part of the Atlantic Wall. That's what they were hitting. Alright, watch your altitude. Everyone still okay? really well flown, lads. Loving this. Lights off, tight formation. You can't see much, but it's absolutely insane looking. Okay, ease off a little bit more speed. Easy now. We're going to drop the lads just north of Carentan, then it's a left turn and boogie out of there. Check this out. Can you see in the searchlights? Look at that! Okay, speed looking good. We're getting more flag. We're getting very close. Oh, there's a lot more going on here, lads. Look at that. You can see paratroopers there, look. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're still on course. Speed 110. We're at 900 feet. This is perfect. Oh, look at that. We got a C-47 in spotlights, look. Wow. Amazing. Jesus, look at this, lads. there somewhere. I'm looking for it. Unbelievable, isn't it? Hang on. Need to do a button, lads. Need to do a button. We'll left turn it. You can see absolutely nothing, only searchlights. Isn't that unbelievable? Jesus. Isn't it absolutely spectacular? And yes, if you do fly this kind of during the daytime, you'll actually see the amount... Jesus. You'll actually see the amount of work that Jeppesen really put into this scenery. The sounds you're hearing, all the visuals, paratroopers, there's also aircraft flying, there's artillery on the ground, there's bunkers, there's landing craft. It's all there built into this scenery. Absolutely incredible stuff. So we'll just cheat a little and just make it a little bit brighter so we can kind of see. Like, that's nighttime. I mean, it looks incredible, right? And the searchlights only come on at nighttime. You know, there's a few with lights on, you'll always get it. Let's close that back door. So left turn coming in. Yeah, it looks pretty good in the daytime too. Jeppesen did an incredible job. Absolutely amazing, amazing job. So at this stage, we can now start climbing back up to about 1500. Let's get that power back in. And we're going to hightail it out of here. Easy now, Murph. Easy now. Don't go too far off track. Yeah. Yeah, lads, big massive shout out to Jeppesen 2001. He did an incredible job here. And he made it for free. Like, isn't that staggering? What an incredible airplane. Sounds, right? Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so very well flown, lads. Massive, massive job there. And if anything, it just gives you that little bit of a snapshot of what it was like, what it must have been like. I mean, that's without us getting hit up, but the sound of flak, the lights, the panic, the crap, we got to do with something here. And then the paratroopers, you know, them having to deal with that. Whatever about the guys on the ground realising, like, oh, we're being invaded? It's quite incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, where was I? It was over here. We'll continue on, right? So, yes, the aircraft were flying the Douglas C-47 Skytrain, later became a DC-3, or before the war was a DC-3. It was known affectionately as the Goonie Bird, and over in the UK she was known as a Dakota. The 47 played a pivotal role in the airborne and resupply missions, the primary transport aircraft for paratroopers of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions. They were tasked with delivering thousands of troops behind enemy lines, and despite the dangers of anti-aircraft fire and the challenges of nighttime flying, the aircraft were instrumental in the initial assault. Other aircraft used, both by the British and Canadian paratroopers, a lot of them used gliders, right? And they would have been using the short Stirling. A British 4-engine heavy bomber was used. They used their Dakota, their variant of the C-47. Also, the Handley Page Halifax would have been used as well. And let's not forget all the different types of gliders. You had glider pilots and glider troops as well. The towed gliders, some of them were also carried by the C-47s. The dual role was critical in ensuring that airborne divisions could secure their objectives. I mean, they were able to put some vehicles into some of the gliders that they towed. The most famous, probably the Waco or the Waco CG-4A glider, an engineering marvel of its time, constructed from a steel frame covered with fabric, designed to carry significant loads. Each glider could carry 13 troops, or a combination of equipment including jeeps and even artillery. They were towed by C-47s, and later even the P-38s, they were able to tow them as well. On the night of the 5th and 6th of June 1944, as part of Operation Overlord, multiple glider missions were launched. Among the key missions was Operation Detroit. That was aimed at delivering the 82nd Airborne Division's glider infantry, and Operation Elmira, intended to reinforce the 82nd Airborne with additional troops and heavy equipment. Similarly, Operation Galveston targeted reinforcements for the 101st Airborne Division. The glider missions faced numerous challenges. The enemy aircraft fire, rough terrain, and the inherent risk of night landing made these operations perilous. Despite the dangers and considered losses, most gliders actually successfully delivered their precious cargoes to the designated landing zones thanks to the skill of the glider pilots and the troops that they carried. One of the most significant success of the glider operations was the capture of key positions such as the Le Frere Bridge by the 82nd, the bridge spanning over the Murdere River, critical for Allied advances. And of course, the British using the gliders landing down at Pegasus Bridge allowed them to land within a matter of meters from the bridge. They managed to get out, secure it, and most importantly, they were able to hold it. But the British had to come under, when they secured that position, the Germans sent over a tank to investigate, and one of the British soldiers fired from his Piat, the propelled rocket attachment onto his rifle. He fired it and took out the German tank. They would then, their reconnaissance radioed back to say, do not send anything down here. The Allies have landed in force. Do you know? The 101st Airborne Division glider missions were helping them when it came to reinforcements of paratroopers, and also they were able to bring in much needed resupply ammunition, and they also had medical supplies and other equipment. The airspeed Horsa, the AS-51 and AS-58, a British glider capable of carrying 30 fully equipped troops or vehicles such as jeep or small artillery, was much larger and sturdier than the Waco, and it played a significant role, of course, at Operation Overlord, and even later on then during Operation Market Garden. Then you had the General Aircraft Hamilcar, the GAL 49-50, another British glider. It was a much larger, designed to carry even tanks and other vehicles. And the gliders, they were cheaper to make. More of them were built. They didn't need engines, right? So the gliders silently descended into darkness, which is another kind of vital piece of technology. Gliders would have been released, from the air. Then they would turn and face their target. And the only sound they produce, you wouldn't have this glorious sound from a glider. You know what I mean? A glider would silently get into its position and be able to take charge there, Incredible stuff. So as mentioned earlier, just in relation to the Eureka and Rebecca systems, our first light on the 6th of June began to pierce the night sky. Thousands of paratroopers prepared to jump into the heart of enemy territory, and the mission was to secure the key positions. Dropping troops accurately into the dark, however, over hostile terrain of Normandy required way more than just bravery and skill. It required precise navigation technology, on which that had to be invented, a technology that had to be invented for the mission. This is where the Eureka system came into play. The Eureka transponder, a ground-based beacon emitting signals that could be picked up by the Rebecca receiver installed in the transport aircraft. The system provided crucial navigational aids that ensured that the paratroopers and gliders would actually get to their designated landing zones. Jesus Murphy, your altitude is off the scale. Pull her down there now a little bit at your 5,500 feet. Are you mad? The system worked by having Pathfinder teams. The first to jump carried Eureka transponders with them, and they would then activate these systems upon landing. The signals guided the main waves of aircraft carrying the bulk of the airborne forces. For the 101st and the 82nd, the importance of the Eureka and Rebecca systems couldn't be overstated. These divisions had critical objectives to achieve in the early hours of D-Day, with the 101st designated to land near Sainte-Marie-de-Mont, needed to capture causeways and bridges to prevent German reinforcements from reaching Utah Bridge. Meanwhile, of course, the 82nd had to go up to Sainte-Marie-Glise itself. The night of the 5th and 6th was chaotic. A little bit down arrow. Many C-47s faced heavy anti-aircraft fire, scattering drops and disorganisation all over the place. Paratroopers were scattered miles across the whole peninsula. Despite the challenges, though, Pathfinders successfully activated the Eureka transponders, allowing subsequent waves to locate the drop zones far more efficiently and effectively. One of the most significant successes facilitated by Eureka and Rebecca was the capture of St. Mary Glees by the 82nd Airborne. This town, a strategic road junction, was one of the first to be liberated on D-Day, thanks in part to the precise drops enabled by the navigation system. For the 101st, the accurate nav provided by Rebecca receivers allowed units to regroup more quickly after landing, despite the initial disarray. The regrouping itself was crucial for their assault on the causeways and their objectives, which later would have been Breacourt Manor. So the Eureka and Rebecca systems, lads, there's like savage technology and learning in that alone, right? So Mission Albany and Mission Boston. What have we just flown tonight? Well, as the Allies surged forward in the early hours of D-Day, 2 critical airborne missions, Albany and Boston, were underway. The missions aimed to secure key positions behind enemy lines. Mission Albany was the code name for operation involving us. We represent elements of the 101st Airborne Division, to be dropped behind Utah Beach, and their objectives were clear: capture and hold the vital junctions, bridges and causeways, ensuring that safe passage of troops landing on the beaches. Leading the 101st was Major General Maxwell D. Taylor, with key figures like Major Richard Winters and Colonel Robert Sink. Dick Winters at the time was a lieutenant. Robert Sink playing pivotal roles. The mission included 3 main drops: Alpha, Charlie and Delta, each with specific targets. At Drop Zone Alpha near Sainte Marie de Mont, the 101st aimed to capture the town and secure the road junction. Meanwhile, Drop Zone Charlie near Veerville required the diversion to secure the crucial causeways landing inland from Utah and Omaha. One of the most significant engagements of Mission Albany was, of course, the assault on Breacourt Manor. Watch your speed, Murph. Upon discovering a German artillery battery threatening Utah Beach, Winters led a small group of paratroopers in a daring attack. Using a flanking manoeuvre, they silenced the guns, a textbook example of small unit tactics and leadership, which is actually still demonstrated today at West Point, at the military academy. Simultaneously, the 82nd Airborne Division carried out Mission Boston, the objectives including the capture of St. Mary Glees and securing the bridges over the Meriday River. Led by Major General Matthew Ridgway and Brigadier General James Gavin, the 82nd faced intense resistance but ultimately succeeded in their mission. The capture of St. Mary Glees by the 82nd Airborne was one of the first major victories of D-Day. The town, vital crossroads, was essential for controlling movement in the region. Both divisions faced significant challenges, including they had scattered troops, heavy enemy fire and difficult terrain. But they did get through it. Still descending. So the targets for Easy Company, 2nd Battalion of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, led by Richard Winters. He was a first lieutenant at the time. Easy Company was part of the 101st, whose tasks included capturing key positions, disrupting German defences behind the Utah Beach. These objectives essentially were to prevent enemy reinforcements. Another critical objective was securing the town of Sainte Marie du Mont, nearby causeway. The task was essential to ensure the movement of Allied forces from Utah into the hinterlands of Normandy. So if you ever get the chance to walk around Sainte Marie du Mont, it's a lovely small little French village. Beautiful. Big church in the middle of the village. And even today, it's just beautiful to walk around in. And they have these giant kind of placards all around the village that you can walk up, telling you what happened on that night. It's quite incredible. Absolutely beautiful. So Easy Company were highly engaged during D-Day, both from the landings perspective, securing the causeways, securing Sainte Marie du Mont, and of course taking out that garrison that was situated in Breacourt Manor. Unbelievable stuff. So I've mentioned Richard Winters quite a bit because I'm fascinated by him. Right, he was played by your man. Oh Jesus, what's his name, lads? Who was the actor? Oh, 100%, Jay Winokur. Members of D Company, also took part. Spears, I think, was behind that, right? Damian Lewis, thanks lads. Yeah, Damian Lewis, great actor, right? But anyway, he portrayed Richard Winters in Band of Brothers. But Richard Winters, the life and enlistment. Richard Winters was born on January 21st, 1918 in New Holland, Pennsylvania. He graduated from Franklin and Marshall College in 1941, and he enlisted in the US Army in August 1941, just before the US entered World War II. Winters was assigned to Easy Company, 2nd Battalion 506th of the Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division at Camp Toccoa in Georgia. We actually flew up that neck of the woods just this other day. And let's level off here. Something like that. He quickly rose through the ranks due to his leadership skills and competence. On D-Day, Winters, then a first lieutenant, parachuted into Normandy. He led a successful assault on the German artillery battery at Brecourt, which was threatening Utah Beach. The action earned him the Distinguished Service Cross, Distinguished Service Medal. Yeah, Spears and his platoon. Yeah. Operation Market Garden followed. Winters continued to demonstrate exceptional leadership during Operation Market Garden in the Netherlands in September 44. Despite heavy losses and difficult conditions, his actions helped secure key positions. During the Battle of the Bulge, later in December 44, Winters, now a captain, and Easy Company played a crucial role in holding the line at Bastogne in Belgium under severe winter conditions and heavy German attacks. At the end of the war, Winters was promoted to Major in March 1945, and he continued to lead Easy Company through the final stages of the war, including the liberation of concentration camps and the capture of Hitler's Eagle Nest at Berchtesgaden. After the war, Winters briefly served time during the Korean War as a training officer, but he didn't see combat. He left the military shortly thereafter, and he returned to civilian life. He actually started working for his good buddy Nix. Winters worked for a family business later for plastics adhesive company. He bought a farm in Pennsylvania where he lived a quiet life with his family. Winters became widely known after the publication of Stephen E. Ambrose's book Band of Brothers in '92, which chronicled the experience of Easy Company during the war, and the book, of course, later adapted in the masterpiece that HBO made, Band of Brothers. In 2006, Winters published his memoir, Beyond Band of Brothers, The War Memoirs of Major Dick Winters, providing further insights into his experiences. Richard Winters passed away on January 2nd, 2011, at the age of 92. He died in Campbelltown, Pennsylvania, after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. He was buried in a private cemetery, but his life and service continued to be honoured and remembered by many. He's remembered as a paragon of leadership, bravery and humility. His actions during the war and his reflections in later years have inspired countless individuals. Monuments and memorials, including one at Utah Beach in Normandy, stand in his honour, ensuring that his legacy endures for future generations. And there's an awesome statue, monument, just out the road from Utah. And it's basically on the crossroads, coming up from Utah, heading on towards, we say, Sainte Marie de Mont. It's where you turn left to head up to Brecourt Manor. That's where this big monument is. Oh, it's just class, look. Like, your hair stands on your arms when you're walking around these places. It's unbelievable, do you know? Absolutely unbelievable. Now, some questions about D-Day itself. Well, before the Allied attack on the 6th of June 44, there had been many D-Days, as the term D-Day is used by armed forces to refer to the beginning of an operation. The D stands for day, so it's actually short for Day. However, D-Day on the 6th of June was so iconic, it came used solely when referring to the beginning of Operation Overlord. A Hungarian-born photographer, Robert Kappa, working for Life magazine, was the first photographer to land on Omaha Beach, one of the earliest waves. He took over 100 photographs, but an overexcited darkroom assistant in London melted the majority of them during development. Only 11 photographs were saved. Life printed them, and they said they were blurry because Kappa's hands were shaking with the heightened drama of the moment. Could you imagine that, lads?
Jesus.
So a question there about the scenery. I'll show you here where you can get it. So if you go to twotonemurphy.com, let it load up there now, Jemima. I'll show you where it is, lads, right? You'll need to log in, register with the website. It's free to register. You just need to tell us what you eat for breakfast. I'm only joking. Go into downloads. You'll find the 2024 version up at the very top, because I've just added it today. And because Gibbo is a legend, he fixed it and he put the 2020 version right beside it. Come on, Gibbo! See? The man's a legend. So 2024 scenery on the left, 2020 scenery on the right. Free to download. You pop the whole lot into your community folder and you're good to go. Good to go. Right, let's get our speed, Murph. Nose down, please. Nose down. Alright, we're looking better. Isn't it just a beautiful sight? No wonder he was shaking. Yeah, like, could you imagine being on the beach? Jesus. So our altitude creeped up there a bit. Nose down a bit. Come on, plane, put the nose down. You can do it. There we go. Okay. Murph, you have watched Masters of the Air. Yes, yes, very, very good. Walking the American cemetery, you can feel everyone there. It's spooky. Yeah, it is spooky. Have I got photos here of my stuff in Normandy? I'd have it, like, as I say, like, I've been to Normandy many times. Many times. Where might I have this now? I'll go looking for a couple of photos, right? We salute the rank, not the man. Yeah. Lads, if you haven't got a chance to watch Band of Brothers, Martin K is here. Good to see you, Martin. And lads, by the way, if I've missed anyone in the chat, sorry, I was reading off my notes. Thank you very much and welcome in. John Jer says, notable as well, the best pilot got to fighters, B tier got to bombers, C tier got to transports. The C-47 pilots didn't really get the training and preparation for the drops on D-Day. That didn't help flying at night while getting shot at. Yeah? That's nuts, man. Stu says, a friend of mine was director of photography on Masters of the Air. What? No way, man. Right, let's see if I can find this stuff. Or where might I have this stuff? We're going a-looking.
Oh, Jesus.
So there's where is this now? So these are photos I took from France. This is back in 2024, looks like. So this part here, right, there was savage weather just after D-Day, right? This is fascinating stuff now, lads, right? Hold on to your chairs there now. Where is this now? The aftermath and the Mulberry Harbour storm, right? Following the initial success of the D-Day landings, the Allies constructed two artificial harbours known as Mulberry A at Omaha Beach and Mulberry B at Arromanches to facilitate the rapid offloading of supplies. They effectively towed harbours across the channel. On June 19th, a severe storm struck the English Channel, causing extensive damage to Mulberry A, the harbour at Omaha Beach. And this is a photograph of Omaha Beach, right? I was there. And I always wondered, before I knew they put a mulberry in there, and I'll show you those mulberries in a moment, I was like, why is there like a thing going out there, you know? And what this is actually the last surviving bit of that mulberry, because the storm came in and absolutely knocked the bejesus out of it, right? Now, I have mad photos in here. Here's one of the photos for Richard Winters. This is the one that's on the sign on the road to Utah. Dedicated on 6th of June 2012 with the World War II Foundation, along with our French allies from the Utah Beach Museum, and with the support of grateful citizens of the village of Sainte Marie de Mont, in honour of Dick Winters and all those American junior officers who led the way on D-Day. May we never forget their leadership under fire. Not class? Wars do not make great men, but they do bring out the greatness in good men. Richard Winters. So I think I have a sign of, like, that's not it there. I have a photo of it somewhere. His uniform is here as well, look. Isn't that mad? That's inside the museum. The airplane's making all sorts of noise. Look at the speed, lads. Look at the speed. Right, can we just hold altitude, please? Right. And a little bit of a left turn. Dog tags and all is there. His wife gave them to this museum. And Thomas Meehan, you often hear of Lieutenant Meehan, whose aircraft went down. And this stuff here is what they found that belonged to him. They never recovered his body. Look at the brass knuckles there, look. So if you watch Band of Brothers, you hear, you know, Lieutenant Meehan's aircraft goes down. And that's what they found of him. Isn't that mad? And as I say, this is all in the, you know, the D-Day experience, which is just absolutely staggering. There's all... anyone name the airplane? This is at the Utah... Is this the Utah? I think this is the Utah Museum. Worth noting, Meehan had most of the leadership element on board, including the company's first sergeant. Yep. Wait, now was Lipton on his aircraft? It's a B-26. Well done, lads. B-26, fully restored. There's pictures of me and the young fella. What else do we have here? I've tons of other photos. Hang on. That was 2024. I thought I had those photos saved somewhere, no? Let's have a look. Jeez, that's mad. I thought I had them somewhere handy. Did I ever get to the Maisie battery? I did. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere in... Murphy, you have to set your studio lighting to red. Yes. I think. Usually exclamation red will do it. Usually, right, usually. Where am I drifting off? I'm doing too much reading, I'm going off course. Sorry, lads. You're still sticking with me though, which is great to see. Negative, okay. Are you drinking out of a closed cup so you don't spill your beer? Good. I've only... You can't see them, but the lights in front of me are blinding me with red. My face has gone red because of the lighting. So yeah, it kind of does work. Why don't I have them photos, lads? Where are they hiding now? They're hiding somewhere. Want some of yours? Not like me to go off course. No, Mr. Dan, not at all. Not at all. I'm very surprised I'm after losing all that stuff. What an aged Murphy. Yeah, I don't know where I put them. I'll find them some other day, but like, they're not lost, they're just hidden. Yeah, I've put them somewhere now. I don't know what they are, they're probably sitting on one of my hard drives. That's what they are, that's what they are. But let's just, I want to show you this museum, lads. The D-Day Museum, right? And as I said, this is, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the finest museum in Normandy, bar none, right? So, the stuff that they have, and it's at Dead Man's Corner. So you have the main exhibit in here. They have a 4D dynamic flight sim. This is the one that they have on the rig that moves you around, yeah? And Jimmy Martin was brought. He had a look at it as well. You may have seen him before. He was on the That's All Brother aircraft, yeah? So this is the rig that they have, look. And you get to go with that. You pay in, you get to go, and you walk in, and like the aircraft's sitting like that, so you're leaning down, you seatbelt yourself in, right? Yeah, I've been there a good few times. So he's an actual paratrooper. I think he 101st? Yeah, he was 101st. He jumped into Normandy. So he's on this thing explaining. That's a glider behind you there if you're looking at it. Well, they showed the thing moving. Like the windows all done out. They're all screens on the windows. Like it's very immersive. It's very good. And the pyrotechnics and everything that goes off in it. I don't think they show you that. They don't let you record inside. But he's talking about what they have. And that's the actual aircraft. They have the frame of it there, look. Isn't that mad? They saved the fuselage. That's how it would have looked. And that's the way it's set up now. Pee-wee was 3rd Battalion 506. Good man, Jay Winokur. Yeah, Pee-wee, that was his nickname. History Underground, you guys ever watch him? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Here's a video here. And he goes to Dead Man's Corner. And like, that's what's so absolutely incredible when you're in France. You can literally just go driving to these places, get out the car and go for a walk around. It's only in kind of recent years they've actually pulled a lot of stuff out of the fields, you know, out of ditches, and they've put them into museums, right? History Traveller is a great guy. I watch him all the time. Dead Man's Corner is incredible. The road behind us, right, is Sam Riedemont, and then you've Carentan up this way, right? And how it got the name Dead Man's Corner, the Germans took out some Allied. I think it wasn't a Sherman tank, but anyway, they took out the Allied tank, and the guy was left hanging out of the barrel, and it got the name Dead Man's Corner, right? Or he was hanging out of the turret. So that was the tank that was shot up. So this was originally a German OP, then it became a German medical aid post, then it became an American medical aid post, and then an American OP. Yeah, Stuart Light tank, that's the one, Scott. And inside this museum, and this is only part of this museum, it's a whole building. They've all the different rooms. They've downstairs done out, I think, as the Americans, and upstairs is done out as the Germans, because both sides would have operated the building, not at the same time, yeah? So they've all the mannequins done up, but it's all the original gear, right? The original uniforms, weapons, all the stuff is there, documents, identification, everything exactly as it was found. And then as you move then upstairs, it's done, and like some of the gear, like this was stuff that was pulled off the beaches, it was pulled out of buildings. Like, they have everything. You can actually buy some of this gear if you want. They have a shop there, you can buy stuff, right? He'll probably bring you into the shop where you can see it. Like, you can buy some of this stuff, buy rifles and all the sort of stuff. Fort Benning paratroopers, look. And like, this is the actual gear, lads. Do you know what I mean? SS officer, watches and all the jazz. This is the C-47 sim. Like, it's an actual C-47. Like, isn't that wild? That was Jay Winnaker's watch. These uniforms are the actual uniforms. And, you know, Winters is there. There's loads of them there. They have a jacket belonged to Eisenhower when he was a 3-star general. There it is there, look. I am the jacket of, look. Oh, that's Dick Winters. But they have Eisenhower stuff in there as well. Harold Knopf with a penknife. The flag the lads took out, all signed. Back of a glider. Then that's upstairs. St. Mary Glees. Like, the stuff they have upstairs, like, it's, what an amazing museum. This is all upstairs, look. It's done out like a French village. This is in the building. Highly, highly recommended, lads. Highly recommended. Interesting tidbit as well. So if you watched Band of Brothers episode 3, you know what Blythe? Hey, Blythe! Do you know when Blythe goes into the forest and there's a dead German, but he's kind of dead standing up? That's a mannequin, yeah? That mannequin is in here. It's what? Isn't it class, lads? All the gear, it's all legit. It's just incredible. The D-Day experience, as I say, it is the best in Normandy. You know. Hey, Fabio, good to see you. Yeah, 100%. Very sad for history, of course. And that's, you know, when we look at the buildings, you go into the cinema, a full auditorium, and like, this is brilliant. The movies they show, and they have those fancy headphones, any language, doesn't matter. It's incredible. And then they do cinema evenings. They'll put on war movies and Band of Brothers and all this. You have to go, lads. If you ever get the chance to go to Normandy, you have to go. There's a wall down here then, we can't actually visit it. See this wall here? They're honeycomb plaques. A lot of the actors who starred in Band of Brothers and the families of those who served in the actual Easy Company, they've sponsored a lot of these plaques and the names are on them. And it's all for funding for this. Because they don't really get a lot of state funding. In fact, I don't think they get any state funding. But when you walk in, you meet the gift shop, and they have some of the coolest stuff ever. All the gear I wear, all these t-shirts, I get them from here. You see them up on the wall, look. Yeah? Like, some of the stuff you can get is class. So when you come in, you buy your tickets, and they horse you over this way into the museum and the simulator. And usually, more times than not, they'll tell you to go down to Dead Man's Corner first. I'll share this website with you if you're ever going to Normandy, or just plan to go, lads. It's an experience you'll like. If you've any interest at all in World War II stuff, that's where it is. I also want to share a link about That's All Brother, the livery in which that we're flying tonight. That's All Brother, the aircraft fully restored. She's back flying. It actually came over for the 75th anniversary. And that link in the chat, that's this website here, alright? That's All Brother. I have a picture of that behind me I got from old Veteran 965. It lives on my wall right behind me. And I actually have a piece of that plane. And then Mr. Two-Tone bought me the oil pressure gauge from that exact plane as well. Based in Central Texas, yeah. It's just incredible. So that was... Just, right, incredible stuff. Have a look at that. There was a great documentary on Netflix all about her. How they rebuilt it, how they managed to find the parts, how they managed to find the aircraft. It was up in near Oshkosh. And they realised, oh wait, hang on, there's the thing, look. Yeah, B. Carlo, 100%, man. Really good footage. So I'm trying to get us turned here. Get back on course. I've made a bit of a mess of this, but sure, listen. How are we all doing behind us? I'll make it a little bit brighter again, because, well, we want to see what's happening, don't we, lads? Insane flying by everyone tonight, lads. I cannot thank you enough for doing this, because it's important. Like, it's so important we remember this stuff. As I say, like, could you imagine being back there during that time? You didn't have a choice. You had to do it, and that was it. It's so alien to us now. Do you know? It's quite fascinating. Like, it's so alien to us now to think, no, you're not going to work in the morning. You're now doing this, you know? Right, where are we at? Right, try and break down through the clouds. Oh, that was weird. Sorry, Murph, can we have another navigraph check? Yes. I'm slightly off course. I'm heading back to where I should be now. Hey, Schultz is here. Good to see you, buddy. These guys were in it to the end, too. Yeah, there was no discharge apart from serious wounds. Yeah. Going well, Schultz, going well. We're on the return leg, heading back to Exeter. Mr. Dan, no worries at all. My grandmother's brother was a paratrooper at D-Day. He was 18. My wife's grandmother's husband fought in the desert with in Africa. Wow. So here's the thing, right? So some of the stories that we had, and there's loads more to this. I mean, the Red Ball Express, right? How they managed to get all the equipment and machinery then in, right? So some of the stories that we got over the years, where is this now? So we had a story here from Ian, right? Bit of info regarding his father, who served with the Royal Marines 45 Commando, trained at the Coxswain of Landing Craft in Scotland. He sailed from Tilbury Dock on the evening of the 6th of June, heading for Juno Beach with the Royal Winnipeg Rifles. Most of the lads in 45 Commando didn't come back. His best mate is buried in Ranville Cemetery, and Ian's wife and himself have been there many times. It is truly breathtaking. What those brave guys did, we should never forget. After disembarking the troops, his duty was to search for mini submarines off the coast, as well as recovering many bodies of the shoreline. One incident that came across an RAF pilot whose head, Jesus, was missing. They only had a uniform. Had a very special emblem. The officer on board his father's landing craft said, "That will look good on my arm," to which his dad replied, "You touch that and I'll shoot you." Jesus. Needless to say, he didn't get it. Just a memoir. Some of the stories we have here. Both maternal uncle and maternal grandfather were at D-Day from D.P. Book. Neither of them ever talked about D-Day. I suspect the trauma. Yeah. I remember the story Dougal told us, not completely D-Day specific, maybe worth a mention, as the Royal Marine Commandos always get left out. On Dougal's first Afghan posting with the Royal Marines, we had a guy in our unit whose grandfather came ashore at Sword Beach. He thinks the RMC unit was attached to part of the 3rd Infantry Division. Prior to that, he also fought in Sicily with Operation Husky, and he survived not only both landings and subsequent pushes with only minor injuries, but also the entire duration of the war. This guy's father also went on to join the Marine Corps and saw active service numerous times. That's 3 generations of Royal Marine Commandos all seeing combat in multiple theatres, and all 3 survived to talk about it. You don't hear that every day. Like, to be able to get in and out of those situations, like, bloody hell. Local museum says Crafty Tigers has a Halifax on display that was a Canadian. Served when I lived in Windsor, Ontario. I got to see the rebuilding of a Lancaster, bad penny, so I need to revisit it. Wow. Goose, no worries. Wars are won and lost with logistics. Yep. Kozaki Flyer has a set of World War II pilot wings. Wow. Dr. Sisu is here. Good to see you, buddy. Incredible stuff. Good friend of mine did a glider landing the night before D-Day and then rounded out the war as one of the RAF observers at Nuremberg. Oh, wow. Wow. Like, Ireland and all of this, like, our own history on this island, things were very different back then. And a lot of folks went to fight. They fought with the British and some fought against. There's an Irishman involved in every single army and every single war ever. We have fighting spirit. But yeah, like, there was a lot of Irish. A lot. Ireland's official stance, of course, was neutral. It did help out with weather reports. You know, there was use of ports and all this sort of stuff. But Ireland's own kind of political history at that stage, it was a very young country. We weren't long enough independent, 20 years or so. And then you get into all sort of political bejesus. But a lot of people fought. A lot of people fought. And, like, the war wasn't just, you know, on the soil of Europe, right? On mainland Europe. It wasn't just in France or Germany or Italy or whatever else. For a lot of people, the war was at home. From families, from businesses, from, you know, brothers and sisters. Just everyone felt the war back then. And that's before we even get talking about, you know, they would have had massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Restrictions, and, you know, you weren't allowed certain things. That everything was kind of culled back and pulled back. There's a word for it, it just won't come to my head. Rationing, that's the one, lads, thank you. The Irish Sea was a hotbed for U-boat activity. It really was. It really, really was. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting history there. A lot of it hasn't come out yet, you know, under freedom of information and all this balls. Usually they wait 100 years. In the next 20 years, we'll learn a lot more about the Irish stance of what it did and also what was being required of them. Mainly from Churchill. You have your grand's ration book somewhere with our ID card, Mr. Chippy. No way. I've quite a bit of memorabilia. Like, I mean, I've helmets, I've webbing, I've, you know, rank markings. I've aircraft identification books from both sides. I have a German one in there. Alan Mead, good to see it. Yeah, curtailed rationing, all that. Yeah. We had U-boats off the coast of Alabama. Yes, you did. The U-boat stuff, I'm fascinated by U-boats. And there was one thing that Churchill said, that was the only thing that terrified him. Everything else shocked him. He was terrified of U-boats. And had the Germans did more on the U-boats, was for listen. I think we win those Grand Epic, it's the fog. It's quite foggy back here in England. That's a bit too much, Murph. Oh, there were. I randomly got a Christmas present from eBay wrapped in original World War II newspaper. No way, Linny. Yeah, I have stuff here, like, I mean, I've stuff all over the shop. Like, we found stuff in Normandy, like myself and Mrs. Two-Tone, and like, we found stuff. We found bullets, we found ammunition clips. You leave it all over there. Like, you can be a, you know, you can take it if you want, but like, most people don't. Like, you find it, you want it looked after, you know. Tosh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We were lucky we were never able to weather the U-boats and between radar and improved sonar fight them. Yep. If you had one of those special closets like in Father Ted, that might be alarming. Could you imagine? I have many hours in a heavily modded Silent Hunter. Malky, yeah. U-boat is what I played. It's been a long time since I played it, but I was always fascinated by U-boats. Not from the destruction, of course. It's purely from how did 40 lads operate inside a small little tin for like days or weeks, sometimes months at a time, navigating. It's crazy. I don't know how they did it. Crazy. My father-in-law was born on the 31st of August 1939, the eve of Hitler marching into Poland, as he likes to keep reminding us, right? Is autopilot difficult to set up on that, Murph, or is it even there you're flying manually? No, there's a gyro pilot on it. You just need to make sure that you turn on, you know, your hydraulics that powers the gyro. I can't get the pitch is a problem, but lateral navigation or lateral gyro pilot doesn't seem to be too bad. Did we see anyone flying from 757, lads? Did we see Dave's crew anywhere? No. They're heading back up the road now. We're heading back now to Exeter. The old SciTech autopilot panel works well. Yeah, Dougal, yeah, they work well. Eamon says, my grandfather was in the RAF during the Second World War, stationed at RAF Uppottery, living in nearby Stamford during an air raid. The air raid sirens went off. For some reason, they didn't go to the shelter, which suffered a direct hit. If they had, they wouldn't be around today. Jesus, really? That's mad. No, they were doing a longer flight, Super Ty. You saw them when you were flying ahead? Okay, sweet. Okay, we're on the home stretch now. Exeter is very near you, Goose. Sweet. It's been a great flight. Anytime we've done this, it's been just an awesome, awesome flight. I love it. But then you had, of course, all the resupply that these aircraft did. As soon as these aircraft made it back to England, they were refueled, loaded up, and sent back again. Like, they didn't just do the mission and right, that's it, go to the pub. The next cruise took over. There wasn't enough aircraft. There wasn't enough of them. Murph, how do you describe heavy fog in Ireland? I'm not quite sure. Thank you, Jay Whittaker. Death Angel says, I'll do this again. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Captain Cocktail says, Murph, one of my favourite flights with you. Oh, thanks very much. In Newfoundland, it's a wonderful, wonderful tick, really. 45 miles out. Ooh. The crater is still there in the back garden. At least it was 30 years. Jesus. My hometown Barrow was bombed a lot due to the shipyard and steelworks. There was a terrible shot though. Most bombs landed on the townsfolk. Oh dear. Yeah. I was reading Kelly Johnson today. Someone saying stuff about the SR-71, the P-38, the U-2, the Bell and the Starfighter. Ooh. Yeah, 14,000 D-Day flights. Like, incredible, right? Alan did a flight in an F-18 on flights in 2020 earlier from Colne to Dublin. Ooh, nice. Captain Norris, thank you for the bits. Cheers, buddy. Not at all. I'm like, if you don't know already, I love me history. I always have, right? In particular, Roman history and military history, with kind of an emphasis on World War II. The whole thing fascinates me. From all sides, you know, it's from all sides. But you approach it in a way knowing that, you know, war is not there to be celebrated. People are. And when I say by celebrated, I mean, like, look what they had to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, look what they had to do. I get a pain in my jaw if I have to bring the bins out late at night. Do you know what I mean? How different it was back then. Crazy. But lads, if you enjoyed this flight a little bit later on in the year, as we reflect, of course, on Operation Overlord, we're going to be looking forward to commemorating an even larger airborne operation later this year. In September, we will once again take to the skies in a large-scale operation that was even bigger than D-Day, and that will be Operation Market Garden. There is another scenery by the legend himself, Jeppesen 2001, that he has created for Operation Market Garden. And what makes Market Garden friggin' nuts, this was a daytime operation. So we're going to try and tow some gliders in this one, if possible. Operation Market Garden. So that's going to be our next flight. It's going to be happening in September on its 81st anniversary, right? And yeah, should be fun. The Battle of Midway was going on from 7th of June 1942. Scary, yeah. So Operation Market Garden, that'll be happening a little bit later on this year. The scenery is already available. If you want to grab it, it's on our website as well, and it's all for free. Jeppesen did incredible work. Everything we have on the website from the download section, liveries, there's sceneries, there's plugins, there's everything. It's all free. It's all made by the community for the community. It's just up on the website so we can host them, you know? A Bridge Too Far. That is the movie you need to watch in preparation for that. That's a masterpiece of a movie. Gives you time to learn the DC-3? Yeah. Now, there is a very high fidelity DC-3 or C-47 in the works. The only problem is it's not for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a company called Airfoil Labs. Oh wait, hang on, is it out? Products. No, work in progress. So Airfoil Labs, these guys made two of some of the best aircraft on X-Plane. One being the 172, the other being the Beach King Air, right? However, this one, I mean, look at the details, lads. These are rendered inside of X-Plane. Look at the cut of this. You would swear they are photographs. Yeah, there are two in X-Plane, but they're only all right. This thing, however, look at they're like photographs, aren't they? And it's a proper C-47. Jeppesen, can you make scenery for X-Plane? Doesn't that look incredible? And like this would be pure study level. Of the highest order of study level simulation. It'd be the ultimate Murphy bird. Super die. Doesn't look very impressive. Two variants of the Dakota C-47, military and DC-3. When is it coming out? It's not out yet. I need to reach out to these lads. Also, anyone looking forward to, well, just aircraft in general, right? We know there's a barrel load of aircraft on the way, right? Just Flight's Tomahawk due out in a week or so. The Black Square Starship is on a short final. A2A, just saying. Let us not forget about those. Just Flight's Tornado, of course. There's a lot of really good aircraft on the way. The Airvan, yeah. 732 vid from Blackbird just came out. Oh, nice. They made it for the wrong sim. Well, Airfoil Labs also built an aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, so, you know, we could be lucky, lads. We could be lucky. Look at this. Flow, Murph. We need flow. Yes. Yes, we do. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome aircraft on the way. The Miltech, oh yeah, Miltech's MH60, that looks awesome as well. Yes, it does. I would love a higher fidelity DC-3. This is pretty good. But this is pretty good. To me, this is the best DC-3 on any flight sim right now. And I have the two other variants over in X-Plane. B-17, that's on the way. Yes. Yes, it is, old veteran. As is the Lancaster, but I think there's too much hype going into the Lancaster now. First time in multiplayer, John Hawks. This is blowing my mind. Oh, delighted, John. Hope you're having fun, buddy. Yeah, the group flights, this is what I live for. You know, I'm not any good. It's like I won't say I struggle with X-Plane because I tend to jump into an aircraft I haven't a clue how to fly, so I have to learn it quick. But our group flights that we do, getting to experience all these things together, getting to see the other aircraft, this is incredible to me. It's incredible to me. It's just awesome. I love this. I love the fact that, you know, I'm sitting here in Tipperary in Ireland. We have folks literally all over the world. All over the world. And we're all flying together. We're all doing stuff together. It's incredible. The C-750 Super Thai, of course, man. The friggin' citation from Flight FX. A Learjet 45 is on the way from Just Flight. Linny says, it's the first time I've seen the D-Day stuff. So impressed. It's really awesome. The SR-71. I don't think that's a plane I'd fly much though, Mr. Dan. Trying to push Raoul to get stuff out. Raoul is flat out. You want to see what he's working on. But you want to see what he's... It's just like, holy crap, you know what I mean? Dougal says, Murph, your group flights are probably the only thing that keeps you multiplayer and not 100% on VATSIM. Well, Dougal saying that means something because he's always on VATSIM. Thank you, Dougal. I just wish the multiplayer experience just wasn't as janky and, do you know what I mean? The new, is it IATA from Hangar 713? I haven't tried it yet. It's only $4.99. Yeah. Man, that's gorgeous. It's beautiful scenery, yeah. We're on the south of England, heading down now. Where are we actually? We're really in Exeter. Yeovil is just up the road from here. It's stunning. Yeah, I just wish that the multiplayer experience was better. It needs work. It's always needed work, you know? But it's better than a kick. Do you know what I mean? It's just better than a kick. But this has been a really, really fun flight. I've really enjoyed this. It's been awesome. What's the bug fixes flying through, pun intended? It might be a couple of updates away. Yeah. Sim is looking good. Yeah, 2020 is looking great. Our flight last night on VATSIM and this tonight, it's behaving well. I was up to like friggin' 3 o'clock this morning trying to fix. I noticed on my preview window over here, it was kind of juttery and not really the way I wanted. It wasn't smooth. And that came across in the friggin' stream. I was like, because a couple of folks yesterday were saying, Murph, it's out of sync, or it's, you know, I was like, nah, it's grand. It wasn't grand. Anyway, I got to the bottom of it. But it took me until 3 o'clock this morning to fix this shagging thing. You know. Sean says, thanks for the D-Day tribute. Very intense when over the drop zone. Never forget the bravery and sacrifice. Yeah, amazing. And you're more than welcome, Sean. Sean Dale says, thanks for all the fun and all the knowledge. I wish my teachers were more like Murph. School would have been fun. And I didn't sleep in. No, I was up early this morning. Death's Angels on the ground. Put on the kettle. We're inbound. Yeah, 2020 is still looking really good. And I was nervous going with this tonight. I wanted to be in 24, but like model matching and the LOD and, you know. For whatever frustrations we have at 24, it's still an incredible, incredible sim. And there's no doubt in my mind that that is the next platform. But at the same time, isn't it just nice that 2020 is still here? Could you imagine if they, like, you know, did like an EA on it and shut it down and no, you're only using, like, they could have done that, right? They could have easily done that and said, no, we can't host all this. We're going to shut down 20 and now you're working off 24. Jesus. Old veteran sitting there watching your AI truckers earning money, which is saying nothing. Which runway? We'll circle around, so we'll pop in on runway 08. 08 is what we'll go for. Hey, Bad is here. Good to see you. Murph, are you going to stream 1440 on Twitch? I think so, Big Carlo, yeah. The only thing when it comes to streaming higher up, the latency increases. And we've very low latency on Twitch. There's higher latency with YouTube, so the comments take a little bit longer to, like, you know, they're a little bit slower getting to me. So by the time I see a comment, someone could have, you know, wrote that comment 2 minutes ago, or you know, longer. But yeah, I spent a lot of time last night trying to get things back smooth again, because at this stage the CPU usage on my streaming PC, this is like just the science that goes on, right? Your LRM wasn't working. No, wait, balls was mine. Yeah, it was. Like, my flight route here has been absolutely disgusting, right? Just about we can't see it. It's been terrible. Oh look, we got a friend request. Who is it? Cyrus T, good man yourself. Let me see, turn off that NextRad stuff. Oh wait, is that not looking at my current flight? Oh no, an error. Uh-oh. Anyway, it's not important. The YouTube is way behind Twitch. Yeah. Just bought a 9950 X3D. OG Slayer, nice, man, nice. I was fascinated by military history and aviation from before I started school. 45 years later, I'm still learning stuff. Malky, dude, I'm the very same. You know, you never stop learning in aviation, and if you're into history, it's the same. John C, awesome stuff. If you were my history teacher, I would have been far more interested. Your expectations are high. Let us know if you've any problems with it, G Slayer. Moving from Nvidia to AMD, there's a couple of little things you may not be used to. At least I wasn't. There's certain settings I would have used for certain settings I would have used on Intel based machines. AMD did not like it at all. I was getting like massive CPU spikes. Calmed it all down now. So yeah, give me a shout if you're stuck with anything. I did, old veteran. Yes, that Providence scenery from Inibills, it looks insane. Insane. I think the news is going to be busy next week. AM5 CPU should be good. Yeah. The Impossible Face absolutely horsed that landing. It's grand. Don't worry about it. Some of us get it for free too. The Providence scenery. Yeah. I need to check my email. I hope so. It looks very nice. Alright, we're looking good. There's our runway. Speed is good. We're going to overfly it and we'll circle back in. I hear a lot of streamers got a 5070 Ti for the streaming PC. Pardon me, because of the dual encoders, better handling 1440. So where I'm limited, it's going to be on my bandwidth up. I only get about 100 megabytes up. And I'm giving YouTube 40. I'm giving Twitch 6,000. So that's what, 46? The sim needs about 20. And then everything else in my house. You know what I mean? Interesting thing I noticed this evening when flying over my house, the bush plane down from the house on the beach is included on the 2024 stream scenery. No way! Nice. If you signed up for the airside tour of the tower, you get it for free. Oh, really, old veteran? Nice. You know, I think streaming-wise on the streaming PC, like, there's a 3080 Ti in that. Like, for a streaming PC, that's freaking overkill. You know what I mean? And I don't know, what's the RAM on this? I've 64 gigs of RAM on it as well. And the CPU, it's an Intel i7 12700K. Like, them specs for, it's just for streaming, it's overkill. Mr. Dan says, as you say, Murph, you never stop learning in aviation. I today learned that the SR-71 other aircraft, the YF-12, could fire missiles at near Mach 7. Jesus. It's symmetric fibre, I think, in Ireland. I get 1 gig down and up. Yeah, we got fibre here. So I have a gig download speed. But I get about 100 megs up. I need more up. I used to only have 10 megs up. So I'm way happier with it. But I'm out in the middle of the country. Like, I'm in the, you know, I'm outside any major urban area. I'm out in the sticks. You have T1. Huh? Not. It's definitely not bad. The download is great, and the upload allows me to stream 4K on YouTube, you know, 1080 on Twitch. But I'll definitely be bumping up Twitch a little bit. But I think the balance is kind of nice, right? Because not everyone can actually consume 4K content, right? Maybe you just can't. Plus, if you're on your phone, really, you don't need 4K on your phone. So I think the balance is kind of right. I mean, if you want sharper views, 4K, ramble on over to, just now go over to YouTube and have a look and see what you think. Bearing in mind, my mug is on it. I'll hide that mug, though, as not to scare people. Do you know what I mean? We'll do one of these while we're here as well. Chase plane is simply awesome. I agree. Chase plane is brilliant. It's so much needed in the world of flight simulation. 2024. Right. That makes it more realistic looking. Get our lights on. We're back over friendly territory. Autopilot off. We need you. And let's rumble in, friends. Yeah, the ground cart is a bug. What's going on with my lights flickering? My gen's on. Weirdness flickering. Anyway, let's roll with it. Alright, power coming back. Mixture rich, props full. And let's head her on in. Yeah, it's not expensive here. I pay $50 a month for a gig. You can get cheaper. I'm relatively happy with mine. It has a backup thing that never works. I need to try and fix that someday. So like it has a little SIM card on a USB dongle. So if the main internet drops, that one should pick it up. It's never worked. Need to figure that one out. Alright, we're looking good. 120 miles an hour. Ramble in. Let the speed bleed off a bit. We'll get some flaps into the owl equation. Need the speed down under 112. Don't forget your tail wheel should be still locked for landing. Otherwise you're going to go dancing. There's a stutter. Lots of flaps coming in. Let's drop the gear. Flaps half. Oh, look at that coming in, look. Isn't that only spectacular? Look at that, look. Get up here now. Easy does it, Jemima. Little high. Lights are having a friggin' disco. No idea why, but sure, listen. That's really strange. My lights are flickering. There's a freaking disco on in here. Who needs lights? We probably took a bit of damage with flak, yeah. Alright, flaps are full. Get that nose right down. Easy does it. It's flacked. Very good. Speed is good, height is good. The Switch is indeed quite old at this point. Yes, it is. RPM above 2000 to keep the gens on. I wonder, is it tied to the gens? Now, RPM is very high. It was like 2500 there for a bit. Alright, let's see what we can do.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Thank you, Stu. Bloody hell. Damn, my lights are on and blind. Easy now. Easy. Easy. Power to idle. Get on the main gears first. Don't bounce it, Murph. There's a bounce.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Don't let her tip over on you. There we go. Ah, look at everyone lining the runway. That's beautiful. Alright, bit of pressure on the tail. And drop it on the tail. Tail wheel lock off. We have some movement on the tail. Alright. It's very far back, but let's go with it. That's cool looking. Hey, Hammy's here. Good to see you, Warhamster. Welcome in, bud. Alright, bring those flaps back in. Lads, what an awesome flight, wasn't it? That was awesome. So much fun. Alright. So many aircraft here. This is awesome. Better get off the runway. Dougal, I think the Exeter scenery, it's through the marketplace, if I can remember. Brakes on. We're back here in Exeter. Look at that. Isn't that only fabulous looking? Might brighten it up a bit so we can actually see what's going on. We'll go to dawn. The morning after. Lads, what an incredible flight. Absolutely incredible flight. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you were entertained. Right? This thing didn't forget to lock its tail wheel. Nope, on his cuff. Oh, Jesus buttons. Rambog Mort, holy crap. Scared the life out of me. He's just gifted 10 tier 1 subs. Rambog, thank you very, very much indeed, buddy. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub here on Twitch with thanks to Rambog Mord, well, do be sure to say thank you very much indeed. What an absolute ledge. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for the best flight of the year. Thank you so much. I think Just Flight does a good Exeter. I'm not sure. That was so much fun, wasn't it? It was a great flight. You've all flown incredibly, incredibly well. We'll do it again next year, and we're going to have Operation Market Garden a little bit later this year. And it's the DC-3, especially on flights in 2020. It's very good, and I'll have to plan some more flights out there soon because it's just class, and we have a gorgeous Firefly air livery for it as well, thanks to Cyrus. Really, really nice. So that's going to be it for today. I'm not 100% sure yet about Sunday. Leave it with me. Next week we're going to be busy. We continue on with our G111 Grand Tour next week. That's on Monday night. Tuesday night we're going to be trucking. Wednesday night we'll be bringing the news. Thursday night we're back on VATSIM, and then we'll plan a group flight for next Friday night as well. I might do that. The Hump Malky. I've been looking into that. I'm stunned. Thanks for that and the effort put in by all those involved. Not at all. Zappel, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you, buddy. So, I think it was Aerosoft Crompton. That's the one. Aerosoft. Yeah, that's the one. So lads, thank you all so very, very much indeed. The support tonight has been amazing, and getting to fly with you guys, it's always the highlight of what we do. So have a wonderful weekend. If you get the chance, do be sure to check out the links I put in the chat earlier on, and also watch a bit of Band of Brothers now, because this is a day to remember for sure, that of D-Day, or even Saving Private Ryan, or The Longest Day. That's what you want to be watching. Do you know? So, right, that's it. I'm away now. Until next time, possibly Sunday, if not definitely Monday, have a great weekend. Thank you so much indeed, and we'll see you soon. Ready for this to give up? I'm a little teapot, short
Dreamy, sleepy,
and
nighty,
stout.
snoozy, snooze.
Here is me handle, and here is me spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. Jesus!